Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Good Monday to you. Hope you had a good weekend. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. Appreciate you tuning on in. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do miss something, we'll post all 3 hours, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. That's a good thing. You can email the show if you like. It's JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Also, we're on iTunes. We're everywhere. Twitter at Jay Cameron Show, WTSM app for your mobile devices, and on YouTube, it's ESPN Tallahassee. Big win on the road for the Noles, he says with a straight face. 17-10 is the big win. It's a push in the Redemption Thursday wagers, and the reason that matters, it's the only thing that kept me from going a clean 10-0. Oh, you heard me. But 9-0-1, and I'm the house, so you know the deal. That's what I do. That's what I do. Yeah, too bad I didn't bet all 10 of those games. We were joking on Friday about all the double-digit NFL dogs, and I took them on a flyer because you should never be getting 10-plus points in an NFL football game, and I took them just to cover. They all won, except for one who lost by 2. It's crazy. Just keep on keeping on and do what the Vegas guys tell you out in the desert, which is always take double-digit dogs. Always, in the NFL anyhow. You don't care about that. I understand. I don't want to be off message here. Let's get to the point. Florida State was able to get by and get a win, move to 2-3. It left you uninspired. It left you probably maybe more frustrated than you were going in to the weekend. Oddly enough, a victory, I think, left a lot of our fans more frustrated than the previous games where we looked so bad, where the frustration, that's 2 wins now on the season, and both are narrow escapes against middling to low-level ACC competition where you have to get out of Dodge alive with a late touchdown to win by a touchdown. That's not the kind of thing that's going to satiate the appetite for big-time Florida State football, which...
That's not what you do.
No, right. I agree. We're kind of accustomed to beating these lower-level teams like a drum, and now everything is arduous. Everything is difficult. Everything comes down to a possession here or there in the fourth quarter. And, I get it. I actually was less perturbed, I think, than from what I can gauge on Twitter and email and what I've been told about the message boards. I think I was less angry than the vast majority of this fan base with the way that we played. Only 9 drives, and frankly, I thought the score was not indicative of the way that Florida State controlled the game. That said, when you play as slow a pace as we do, and if you go and look at the adjusted tempo numbers, Florida State is the penultimate in terms of the number of teams that that run a slower tempo than us. There's one. One other team. One. Vanderbilt. That's it.
So the service academies have passed us.
Yes. And tempo. Adjusted tempo. Yeah, it's something to behold. And I thought, hey, look at this. 12 plays, 83 yards, snapping the ball with 14 seconds left on the play clock, and a couple drives like that early in this game. And I for one, we looked to get into a rhythm. Duke was not able to get set. Hey, imagine that. Couldn't call a bunch of different-looking exotics, those kinds of things, because they didn't have time. I don't need to be the fastest team in the country. I don't even need to be in the middle. Something close to dead-ass last is not acceptable, however. When you have more talented players, you want more reps. And so I think you're destined to play a lot of close football games when you play as slowly as we do, because the possessions are minimized. And it stands to reason that if you don't then cash in on the minimum possessions that you get, minimal possessions you get, which in this case is, 9, you're just not going to be able to blow anybody out.
No, but think about it. For this game, you have the ball for 12 minutes in the first quarter, and then last week against Miami, you have the ball for 19 minutes in the first half, and what do you have to show for it? 7-0, 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on now.
Yeah,
Let's go.
It's some of it is that you do have a freshman quarterback, and maybe you don't always trust him, and so you don't want him to play at a pace that gets him out of a comfort zone. But he's not really the problem, so I shouldn't even venture down that road because he threw 2 bad interceptions. One of them's really bad. One of them's like, But and those are behind-the-chains kind of plays where he's trying to force the issue a little bit. And that's going to happen with young quarterbacks. I'll live with it. He's doing a lot of things right. He only has one other incompletion. So his completion percentage is through the roof, and he made some throws. The 36-yard pass that's called back to Nooney in the middle of the field is a laser and really a good illustration of what he's capable of from an arm talent standpoint. And really also, by the way, when you go back and look at that play, for what it's worth, that's not a penalty. They screwed that up. That's a mistake by the officials, which, well, what are you going to do? But that's unfortunate. I will say, they're hard to watch. It's the bottom line is I agree with those of you who say, God, dog, why is everything just so damn difficult? I agree. And, it's weird, too, because this game is deceiving in a lot of ways. Not only is the score somewhat deceiving, but also defensively, any other day you'd normally say, well, you give up 10 points to a team, you feel pretty good about the defensive effort. No, not really. I don't feel that good about the defensive effort. I don't think they played that well. Duke averaged almost over 5 yards per play. Or not almost over. They did average over 5 yards per play, which for them on the year is very good. And for a defense like ours with the talent that it possesses, that's not very good. We're not very attacking. When you watch a Georgia play or an Alabama play, and why do I use them as examples? Well, the talent level is very similar. So when you have those kinds of players, you ought to be looking to take things away. You ought to be looking to attack. You ought to be looking to try to turn the football over, get after the quarterback. You just don't see Florida State make a lot of tackles for loss. In fact, we're one of the worst in the country at it. And that's inexcusable when you consider the talent that's here. And if you're wondering about Georgia and Alabama, they're both in the top 5 in those categories. So teams with like talent are doing a lot more with it. And that's more to the narrative that we've got going right now, which is that changes have to be made. It's not a terribly well-coached team. And you can isolate whether it's a defensive coach or an offensive coach or it's tempo or it's any number of other things. The point is that's what leads to 17-10. That's what leads to frustration. That's what leads to 2-3, along with some of the other mitigating factors that don't have anything to do with coaching, such as an injury to your quarterback and a hurricane delay. But this game didn't do anything to allay people's concerns and alleviate the frustration. It just didn't. It didn't happen, and so now you go into this Louisville game, and honestly, how many people feel good that Florida State's going to avenge last year's embarrassing loss, historically bad loss to Louisville? Louisville got beat over the weekend by Boston College after getting out to a 3-score lead, I think it was, and then BC comes back and just bludgeons them with the run. Louisville is imminently beatable, as we've seen, and yet you don't feel like Florida State, for whatever reason, is equipped to get that done. They might, but I don't feel real good about it on a Monday, and I don't think too many people out there do.
The one thing I'd say is that Louisville's glaring weakness is in its secondary, and this quarterback does get the ball down the field well. If you're looking for, situations and moments that you can carry with you, which is what I've said, this is what I've been doing. Just give me something. Give me something I can work with when there's new blood here.
Cam Akers.
In Tallahassee.
There's something.
Well, yes. He's always been, on the come. I figured he would be what he is, but he keeps on proving it.
Yeah.
In big moments, too. And he's starting to get smarter about the way he runs. He missed a couple of cuts, and he's still a freshman, and I just don't know. He might not have elite vision as a fully realized version of himself.
It's hard to know that. You got to see over time.
But you know what he does have? Elite talent.
Well, he's also mean.
He's mean.
I like that about him.
And he's got the size to go with the mean. He's 18 years old. That dude's a true freshman with that type of body.
Yeah, it's funny because we have such a big back in Patrick that a lot of people associate the bruising, punishing runs, and Patrick had several in this game, including some to keep a drive alive. I'm with you, but I will say Cam Akers delivers a lot of punishment for what he is. I mean, that's a big dude for his age, and he's obviously a lot faster than Jaquez and brings a lot to the table. I got Amir Rasul out there early in this game, too. That's good. I like him. I think he's a real talent, too.
Yeah, he showed the burst there on the catch and stop and go.
Yep.
Yes, obviously Akers. Blackman, what he did, shows flashes. I mean, there are some throws he makes. There's the one on the penalty you could or could not call targeting. Perhaps you might want to review it on the third down. The throw over the middle to Izzo. I mean, he makes 3 or 4 throws in this game that you go, whoa, okay.
Oh, big arm.
Like, it's another step in the right direction kind of a throw. And I know I don't want to say everything that Jimbo said in the Mountain Dew interview, but one thing he did note, we ran it this morning at 7:50, is that he got to his third read a couple of times. Okay, so you're telling me you've got the arm talent, the toughness, you're not gun-shy, you'll trade a hit for a throw. You can get smarter, but I like to know that you're not afraid. And that you're getting through your progressions as a true freshman in that offense. This is good. These are all good things. Logan Tyler continues to be good. And if we're not going to score quickly, then field position matters all the more.
Special teams is playing well right now, except for McFadden doesn't catch the football enough. Other than that, we cover well. We're punting well. Our field goal kicker's making kicks. We're in good shape in that situation.
If 4 is going, to declare this year, as many speculate he's going to do, he's not going to make a roster because he returns punts. So let's try somebody else here. Who can we use in 2018 in that role? Let's find out the rest of the season. And then the other thing I found, truly, it's one of the big takeaways I have from this game, is that David Cutcliffe coached an ass-sorry game, to use one of your terminologies.
Yeah, he did. In several occasions, he removed his starting quarterback after the quarterback made a play and brought in a guy that, quite obviously, you knew what he was going to do. It was bizarre that he did that.
The key drive of the game is 7-3. There's about 5 minutes to go. By the time they get to this point, there's 3.5 minutes to go. They just converted on a big 3rd and long near midfield, and then you call a toss pass? I don't care that it's open. You're going down the field with tempo, running the football, dictating terms.
By the way, gashing Florida State with the run in that drive was the most unsettling aspect of the afternoon.
That's new.
That's very new, and it spoke to a lack of want to from the defense to tackle people. And that's the first time this year, I don't know if they were tired, but that's the first time this year that I've watched a group sort of, they're arm tackling. Nobody's really laying a hat on somebody during that drive. Guys are running for extra yards after contact.
Yeah, they only played 3 minutes in the first quarter. I can't imagine how tired they were.
There were guys making business decisions out there a couple of times, and that is very frustrating and disheartening. And you wonder, by the way, and we'll talk to Ira in the 4 o'clock hour. I credit Ira. The PC wrote about Jimbo being overly positive, if you will, trying to keep people engaged for this season, Tom. Well, the result of people not being engaged is during that drive where they're just kind of hoping a guy falls.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's disturbing that it just happened because there's still a lot of football to play, and if you half-ass tackle Lamar, he's gone.
Well, and the way that, listen, it's a sleepy nooner. You're down 10-3 if Cutcliffe does what he's supposed to do. We'll see. We'll see how we respond. It took so much for us to get down the field and score, because Duke's playing everything underneath, and we're taking underneath, and we're running the football. So if you need to put 12 play drives together on the whole in order to score, momentum is so very important in a game with few possessions. And Cutcliffe calls a trick play when you don't need the trick. I don't care that it's underthrown. You're taking a chance that kid's not going to be able to throw the football. And then, yes, there's 2 times in the second half. One is a 2nd and 6 after they're starting to move the ball, and it's 5 wide. He brings in his backup quarterback. It's a draw up the middle. You project the play call by what
by
your
the
formation
substitution
looks like.
pattern.
And then,
as well.
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah.
And in the fourth quarter, you have a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, and you bring your backup quarterback in, roll him left to make a throw. The starting quarterback was playing just fine.
Well, I'm glad they continue to make those mistakes. They're in the middle of a losing streak. They've lost 3 straight. They're going to continue to lose. The truth of the matter is we caught Duke at the right time. That's sad to say. I've watched Duke carefully because I'm a degenerate gambler. I bet on them when they beat Northwestern, by the way, and they were moving the football and throwing it all over the lot and making plays. Since that game, their offense has gone in the tubes. Their quarterback has played terrible. They struggled against Baylor, and then from there they've lost 3 straight. And Miami obviously housed them in the second half. That was a close game at halftime, but they ended up pulling away in the second half. Virginia just dropped 28 on them and beat them 28-21. And then now this game they lose, and we didn't look all that impressive. But their offense is just struggling. So Duke is whatever they are. To me, and you're right. The point
that you need Cutcliffe to do
stupid things is sad.
That's where I do get a little angry.
Well, I don't. That's the point I made it to. Listen, I told everybody that I could talk to over the weekend, we gave up 10 points. I don't think we look very good on defense. We never get to the quarterback ever with these athletes of ours. You never see us make tackles in the backfield, ever. I mean, literally, you don't. You just don't see it. And I don't know how that's possible with 4- and 5-star kids everywhere, with this defensive line, with the talent you have, the speed and depth advantage. It's not an elite defense. It's not coached like an elite coach would coach a bunch of players. And so this is what it is every week. It's why going into the Louisville game, you say, well,
Oh, buddy, the first. I mean, with that kid, that arm strength he has too. It's not just about his legs; it's about how quickly he can get the ball in space. I mean, that first 3rd and 5 that Duke has, and you're playing 10 yards off on either side. I mean, you're projecting pre-snap that a quick throw underneath. I mean, they ran whatever it was, a 6 or a 7 yard hitch. They could have just thrown it. It could have been a smoke. Just throw it straight to the receiver, and he's out, and he's got a first down.
Why did McFadden play off on that? When you go back and watch that play, it's 3rd and 5. And he's in press, and then he pre-snap, sprints back, plays off.
Yeah.
This kid literally runs to the first down marker and turns around.
Correct. Also, I know it's going around on social media in case people say, there are 10 people out there. No. Below the camera shot, there is an 11th and a receiver on the left as well.
No, it's 11.
Either way, though, even your slot on the left,
he plays way off
playing
too.
10 yards off.
No, they play like they're not confident in what they're doing. Like they don't believe in their coach. And that's the way that defense plays.
Well, and
they're afraid to make a mistake.
But that call is scared of not being able to get home because you're bringing pressure.
They can't get home. They can't get home.
But okay, so why are you calling it pressure then? Because the point is
they blitzed, right? And you got to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly. So that's why you have to play press on the outside because he's going to get rid of the ball. But he doesn't do that. He plays off, so he makes it an easy pitch and catch. These are the fundamental things that if you break down the film, and we don't have actual coaches' film, but we go back and watch these games 2 and 3 times, you'll find no fewer than 5 to 10 plays a game where the call on the field defensively makes 0 sense, and that's you could be a novice football fan and know, just down in distance, what we're doing there is not in concert. The back end's not in concert with the front end. You see it all the time, and that's why you see the frustration from the players. It's why you have this overriding discussion that we have every week. It's not going to change, man. It's not going to change until they move on. Either that or make a fundamental shift in what they're trying to do, and Jimbo says, screw it. We're not doing that, Charles. We're doing this. Do it. And why would I think that's going to happen? Not in season.
Well, not between now and the end of the year.
No, it's not going to happen. So,
which is why I say, well, this is what we're going to have to deal with, and it's unfortunate, and that we have to deal with this at all is BS.
It was a crazy weekend of football, though. I'm not going to completely ignore the weekend.
No, we were the black hole of the weekend.
Well, I mean, with the losses that took place in the top 10 and some of the strangest outcomes you'll see with teams blowing huge leads in both college and pro, it's remarkable. I can think of 7, 8 fan bases that are just absolutely flabbergasted at what took place. And, I don't know. It wasn't lost on me as we walked off that field with a win that, it feels awfully strange to be really happy to beat Duke. But when I did, and again, I'm not pulling the Bobby Bowden, hey, half the teams lose every weekend. I got you. I'm not doing that. And you got to do better. Sure. But I will say, it started on Friday night. You just sit there watching that Syracuse game in awe.
That's unbelievable. So I'm at this wedding reception.
I texted you.
Yeah, on Miami Beach, and I'm keeping tabs on the game, and then it's the third quarter. You're talking about, Syracuse could be a problem given that they want more possessions. We don't.
And they play fast, and and I texted you that. I thought, this is going to be a bit of a problem for us.
Such bull, what.
What, did you see the text?
Yes, I'm like, the fact that that's right is such bull, what.
I know.
But let me go back to the open bar. Anyway, we get to the third quarter early in the fourth, and it's still a game, and Syracuse is winning, and or tied. I go, well, I got to pull this up. So I'm out there on the beach. I'm doing what millennials do, but I got to watch the end of this game. And so I pull it up. It's just, you knew it was going to be one of those weekends when that happens. Typically, these things happen in bunches, and it certainly did. And that's why when Duke has the ball, with the chance to score down the stretch, I'm thinking, well, if they score, they're going for 2. And if they go for 2, they're going to get it. And we're going to lose this football game because that's the way this weekend is. I just had that feeling in the pit of my stomach.
I don't disagree that had they scored, they would have gone for 2. Cutcliffe knew that they were fortunate to be in a position to even have that opportunity. I understand people get angry about that last drive. There's a missed tackle on a play that's pretty important in that drive. But I think defensively speaking, for the most part, by keeping people in bounds and keeping the clock running and having them be in a position they were in, I believe that was 4th down at the end, you did most of the things right there.
Well, it's better than Miami, that's for sure. We did handle a little bit better than Miami's situation, so there's progress there. But that call on Eberle, we ran the clock out. We did the right thing to get the offense.
It's a bogus call. I really don't know if there is something being taught and I'm not a conspiracy theorist guy, but you got the call where the Izzo call is a mistake, the non-review of a targeting on Blackman. where even if you want to say that it's not targeting, you want to say maybe it's a late hit, or you know how I feel about the targeting rule. First of all, I think it's a bogus rule. 9 times out of 10, when I see helmets hit, it's not the result of intent. I don't say that guy is trying to hit somebody with the crown of his helmet, which is the only thing you should throw somebody out of a game for in that situation, is if you believe they intend to harm somebody. Not a natural act where you bend and turn, we're playing at warp speed, and our heads collide. Well, that's why the hell we wear helmets. It's a dangerous game. That's the whole point. Stop throwing people out of games. Damn. And stop assuming everybody's intending to target. They're not. I promise you, I played football. Anybody out there who played football, you know you never ran up on a guy and thought, I'm going to use the crown of my helmet to hit him. You never did that. Your helmets sometimes clash, and you thought, good thing I have a helmet. Football's pretty dangerous. This would have really hurt if I didn't have a helmet. That's why you have one. Anyhow, but they review everything that looks marginally rough, okay? Anything that looks like, ooh, his head snapped back. Well, it's a violent game. They always call down to review that. And yet James Blackman gets hit. I don't know if it was in the head, because I've gone back and looked at that replay over and over again. It's close. It's certainly around the neckline, shoulder.
Yeah, it's around the clavicle area.
And it
could be sternum, it could be clavicle. But the kid does duck his head a little bit if you look at the end zone angle, not the over-the-top angle.
I would argue, and this is all I'll say about that to remain consistent, that he's not trying to target, and I wouldn't have thrown him out of the game.
I agree.
But I'm damn sure going to review it.
Yeah.
I mean, they call down to buzz to see if something's targeting after a guy deflects a pass and his follow-through hits a helmet. You're not going to buzz down for that?
You could also call driving into the ground personal foul roughing the passer, which is what I think it was.
Which is what I think it is, too, and that's just a 15-yard penalty. We move on. I'm not throwing anybody out of the game. But then again, I'm never throwing people out of the game unless I can really say definitively that you were attempting to injure with the crown of your helmet. Other than that, I think football's just football. I mean, it happens.
No, and again, that play, Blackman has done so much in the fourth quarter in his young career.
Oh,
I mean, think about it.
Amazing.
You
Yeah.
know, Akers is the one that puts the icing on the. Well, not really. We had to make a stop. But if you follow it, that the penalty to Eberle is actually not a penalty,
No,
and it's away from the
not.
ball. And we sat in the room with the late Doug Rhodes, who said, if it's the backside of a play,
They don't want you to call it.
do not call it.
No.
They are instructed specifically in the ACC to not call that penalty. I think it's close, but it's not involving the play.
It's not. It's hard not to call holding on a center. I mean, by definition, he's in the middle. He's close enough.
The infraction occurred, if it ever did,
right
as the running back's hitting the hole, gaps over from the play.
I agree. I wouldn't have called it because I don't think it's holding. That's why I wouldn't have called it, because it's not holding. But as far as where they are on the field stuff.
But that is the offense getting the job done in a situation and, earning the right to run the clock out. That's what that's all about.
All right, we'll get into the other games too, but my Mountain Dew Jimbo Fisher interview is what's forthcoming when we come back. You'll hear that. Coach was chatty. He was in a good mood. He kind of takes you through the entirety of the game with every single drive. We did this very early this morning as we needed to get together then. It was easier from a schedule standpoint. I appreciate him coming on, and I think he's in a relatively good mood, frankly, when you hear this interview. And I think it's because he does believe that his young quarterback and this offense as a whole is taking a step forward, but 9 drives, and I get it. I'm a little happier with the offense than most of the fan base is today. I'm not jumping up and down, throwing a parade, but I feel like it was a little bit better than the 17-10 outcome would suggest. That's coming up next. Stay tuned. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra E-Max 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Several estimates to compare apples to apples. You ever bite into an apple and find out the inside is rotten? Cheap roofing quotes are just like that rotten apple. Quote looks shiny and delicious because it's the cheapest, right? But you wind up with that rotten apple that leaks or starts to fail immediately. All roofing quotes are not equal. Cheap estimates equal cheap materials, subpar labor, or both. For quality that lasts, call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Once again, all of you with stellar credit ratings, congratulations. And this message is not for you. All year I've been talking about our New For You program to assist good people with dings in their credit. And just last week, a friend of mine came into my office worried about his own credit rating. But thanks to our New For You program, you guessed it, he drove away in a brand new Nissan Altima. We are proud of the fact that we have helped hundreds of people that were previously limited shopping little used car lots where they overpaid, got huge finance charges, and had very few choices on cars to purchase. Some of those lots may actually hurt your credit more than they could ever help. So remember, credit score under 600? Come on in. Recent bankruptcy? Come on in. Recently divorced? Come on in. Think you have a financial problem we've never heard of? Come on in to Kraft Nissan. And come see the one dealer in Tallahassee that can really help you out. Come see the cars that everyone wants at the hottest dealer in town, Kraft Nissan. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco, or visit us on the web at craftnissan.com.
At Whole Foods Market, we believe in real food. Food that's full of nutrients, naturally vivid and colorful, fresh and delicious. Food that connects you to your body, to the seasons, and to the natural world. We believe food should nourish you and help you think. It should help you feel calm, clear-headed, and strong. It should help you do more, sleep better, and wake up happier. That's food that lives up to its name. We believe in real food. Whole Foods Market.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer. 574-4100. And presented by TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, Georgia. And Franklin Spring Creek Ford.
Welcome to Wells Fargo. How can I help you?
Well, every day I get a latte from across the street, and trust me, it's best for everyone that I come to work caffeinated. Only today, I forgot my wallet.
Don't worry. We have a new way you can get money out of the ATM. Just use your phone.
My phone?
Just open your Wells Fargo app and request a one-time access code.
Oh, that's better.
Enjoy the latte.
You have done a great service for the people in my office.
No problem.
Wells Fargo is building better every day with new ways to access your accounts. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Welcome back. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. We're joined by Jimbo Fisher, head coach, Florida State, and Florida State coming off a 17-10 win. You know, it's a weird game, Coach. I look at the game. I think it was 9 drives, maybe lack of possessions, or else this number is bigger because the yards per play is over 7. Your running backs go over 200 yards. There's a lot to like. Just needed more points.
Yeah, first drive, 12 plays. Great drive. Next drive, 12 plays. Get a holding call and get moved back, which I agree with that one. He tugged him just a little, not a big one, but he tugged him to get back to 2nd and 11. They run a coverage sack, and he's in, and then he takes off, and he's inches from coming out. They went like a man-under type principle, and when you play man-under, That's one of the things you can do is run. They caught him by his shoelace. Third down, he made one of the few mistakes in the game. Should have thrown it away or hit the underneath, got a shorter field goal. Third drive, we get a holding call on Ricky Leonard, which is ridiculous. On the opening drive, we had 6 yards. Was not a hold. Blocked him to just buried him to the ground. Missed call would get back, make it up. Get an 8-yard run, get 3rd and 4, pick up 3rd and 3. Then get the ball and drive and hit the midfield, and they call our tight end for being on the ball. He's not. He's a yard and a half clearly off the ball. And that play takes us to the 14. In that fourth drive, we score. I mean, we got points on both. It should have been 14 or 10 by then out of 2 drives, and then had a missed call that cost the other. Now, I'm not blaming anything. That's just the fact of those. That's just the way it went. And then the other call, the guy was definitely, he was a half a yard off the ball more than Nooney was, which is what you have to be. And we hit that play to 13 minutes halftime. We come out, have a tremendous 11-play drive. Eat clock, keep a defense off the field, controlling the game, going down to go up 14-3. Nooney we hit a big play to Nooney, hit a running the ball really well. He's got to score on that play. He's got the whole side of the field. He makes a big play. But I told him, man, he got to put that ball in the end zone. But then we get it on first down, second down. But then we have an open pass. We give up that's one of the few times we give up protection. Got a guy over aggressive and missed on a twist inside. And we're going to throw it to the right guy for a touchdown. Don't make it. Kick a field goal. Then come back, I believe, driving. And we missed a bubble throw. Just a block. But we're going to gain about 7, so we're 3rd and 8. And then he's going to throw it away on the next 3rd down. And he got to get rid of it a little quicker. And got to see it. He saw it. Knew it wasn't coming. Was going to throw it away. Got to throw it away quicker. And cost us. And then our defense, they had a big drive right there. Tight. And our defense did a tremendous job in the momentum right there. At midfield stopped them. And we get it back. And, of course, we have a great drive. 90. We had 3 drives in the game of over 83 yards. 4 drives of over 10 plays out of the first 7. Where we're controlling the ball, dominating, like I say, got to finish. And we finish that drive. And we come back. We're going to run the clock out. Pop a run to the 50. Get a holding call on Everly. Has nothing to do with the play. Guys blocked. He's clearly blocked. Everly throws him to the ground off his own momentum. Got his hands inside. Breaks it out. It's a 25-yard run to midfield. We're going to run the clock out, and we're moving to get points to put it away. That sets us back. And then we have the last drive. We really on second down. We had a 7-yard run on second down. The one of the few mistakes that our back made. He should have stuck it, picked the front side. We gained the first down, and we missed on 3rd and 3. That was the game. And defensively, thought we're outstanding as far as good. They had 1 drive in the first half of 15 play. Our linebackers had to do a better job plugging the draw. They were running a lead draw, and we were there. They were sitting back and creating the space. When the second half, when they started coming downhill better, we closed it off. They hit the 3rd and 17, which is merely that everybody covered. The end comes free and just loses contained. And when he did, the scramble rules got into effect, and Westbrook torn between the guy on the sideline and the one guy that turned and broke deep. And they made a great throw. But we got to get the guy on the ground and can't let him lose contain in the pocket. And that was a huge play in the game. And then our defense, after that, had the big stop on the extra interception where we were. Then they held him out at the end. I got the sack on the deal. But the first guy we tackled was actually inbound. They could have kept running the clock. But then we played. But, I mean, at the same time, like you said, Jeff, it's not good. But we got to finish with more. There should have been 34, 35 points in the game. Have plenty of opportunities to do that. The 2 interceptions we can't have. James was really sharp on the day, 18 to 21. The first interception, he just can't happen. He just got a little greedy, 7 for 7, and made a mistake there. And then the other one, Jeff threw away just a hair quicker. But then he made 2 huge 3rd down throws in that last drive, picked up first downs. It was good to see Nooney to get back into playing. Auden did another nice job. Our backs ran really well. We run blocked really well. They missed the targeting on the quarterback on a shot up the middle that we should have had on that 3rd down throw, which was huge. And then special teams, Logan Tyler was outstanding. He punted the ball and changed field position after the couple penalties. So it was either penalty or turnover, those 2 things. A couple I agree, a couple I don't. But, hey, that's ball, man. They call them. You got to live with them. And actually one of the more efficient games, but like I say, not frustrating game, but we need to score more points. We got to play a little smarter in a couple situations, but getting a lot better. We kicked it good. We covered good in the day. And defense did a nice job. A couple things we got to get worked out, and then come off and luckily got a win. Like I say, and you're finding out in this league right now, this is not the same league. I mean, Syracuse beat Clemson. Boston College beat Louisville. I mean, you're seeing across the country. I mean, the weight games, these games, dude, this middle of the league is a very good team, and they played smart. They played each other, and the game got limping, and we played really well. I mean, we were controlling the clock, and this, when you have those long drives, you just got to finish with points for sure, and preferably touchdowns, and that's a big difference, and we're getting better at that, but still lots of improvement in developing an identity on offense. James is 18 of 21, good decisions, found some third receivers in the day, 2 or 3 different times. Third downs is getting better. Just got to keep improving, and as like I say, we're the boys to find more points, but at the same time, we're getting better as a football team.
Yeah, I thought it was a weird game because when people get frustrated, they see 17-10 or they're watching the game, maybe they're not aware of certain numbers. When I went back and looked at this and looked at all the drives and all the numbers, it is close to being a 31-10 type game. I mean, it's. You have some plays. You got to finish them, like you said. And really, the only time this offense gets bogged down in this game is basically getting behind the chains. And those are also the 2 interceptions that come on 3rd and long.
Yep, exactly right. And one was, like I say, one came on, we missed a bubble block that we were going to gain a first down to Auden. The other was off a penalty, off a holding call that was there. And the other 2 times we got stopped with the same thing. We were inches from making. But 3rd down, they were number 1 in the league, almost in the country on 3rd down. But they were giving up less than 25% on 3rd down. And I believe in the game we were 6 of 13 on the day, and did a great job. I thought Jacques Patrick was outstanding, short yardage running, just overall blocking and playing. Cam played a really good game. It's good to see Nooney come back. DJ Matthews got a nice catch in the game. We got behind the 6 at one time too on where he dropped the slant. But you're breaking those new guys in. You got to have that happen. So still used all different receivers. Did a good job. I know it. Like I say, it's not indicative, but as far as I'm in. It's a heck of a lot closer than it is farther, and it's very positive in the direction we're going, eliminating negative plays, that kind of thing as we're going through.
Can you bottle that opening drive, maybe sprinkle in 2 or 3 of those?
Well, we did.
Yeah,
go back,
true.
we did.
Yeah.
I mean, we did on the second drive, except for the penalty and the pick, and then the opening drive the second half was 11 plays the same way. And, Nooney's got the whole side of the field, and I love him to death. I tell him, I'm teasing. Now, you got the whole side of the field, you got to get in the end zone.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get a guy more situation there, and then we missed a block on 2nd and 7 down there, so we have 2 guys open there. It would have been the same exact drive except for like 1 play of it. But when you're executing 11, 12 play drives, those are rare today. Those are different. That's football when you're executing all the way through. But we really did. We had 3 drives of over 83 yards, 4 of over 10 plays out of the first 7. And that controls your defense. That does everything. And I just got to finish it a little bit better.
Coach, final thing, health-wise, how'd we get out of Duke?
Actually, relatively good. I mean, we had some guys that banged. Derek Kelly got his knee. Him and what happened? He and Nine banged knee to knee. They went bone to bone.
Right.
And but he's all right. I think he's going to be fine. Just at the time, he had a bad knee right there that we bought him, and it aggravated. But I think he come out all right. For the most part, I think everything was pretty good.
Coach, be well. Thanks for making the time. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, take care. That's Jimbo Fisher, head football coach, Florida State, making some time for me this morning. I didn't get to it, but A.J. Westbrook played pretty well, and so did Adonis Thomas, guys that had to play. Emmett Rice, some of the younger guys. Tom and I have been talking about what you look for the rest of the year. Ira wrote a column today about grading against kind of the curve, the new reality, if you will, about where Florida State's at, and I feel like my conversation with him is in a similar vein. Do you want to walk off that field 17-10 winners against Duke, which is the closest game in the series? No, not ideally. I really think the score, frankly, was not indicative of the way that Florida State outplayed Duke. I know that if you're a realist and you're pragmatic, you say, well, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's our reality, Jeff. We won by 7 points over Duke, and I'm not going to celebrate that. All right. I got you. I actually think that they played a pretty complete game. I'd like to see more pressure on the quarterback. You don't get a lot of that from Florida State's defense. It's not an attacking, dominant, turn the ball over kind of defense. You don't get that. That's frustrating. But a lot of these are things that we've talked about on the show before, which is that if you're going to remedy some of this and you're going to do some things differently, then you're going to have to do it in the offseason. In the interim, you got to win games, and you got to try to get your young quarterback comfortable. I hope Coach Fisher plays with the same sort of or calls plays, the same sort of tempo we saw early in this game, because I think it benefits the young quarterback. And you noticed he rolled him out a lot. and he's going to eliminate some sides of the field. And if you throw off a play action, you got more time, all that stuff. And I think it was the right game plan. If they don't get behind the chains on a couple of those drives with a penalty, I agree with him, by the way. One of those is not a penalty at all. And then how they missed the targeting call, and he can't talk about that, but how they missed that targeting call. They damn sure don't miss any on Florida State. I'm just saying. They damn sure don't. I don't know. But, that said, this should have been a 24-10 type, 31-10 type game with the way that it played out. It wasn't, and that's also a reality. They got to find a way. But it's a freshman quarterback who I think is getting better and better. The 2 picks are a 3rd and long. And that really goes into, by the way, sort of the maturity, the maturation process. You can throw the check down there all day long and kick a shorter field goal and just live to fight another day. And hopefully he learns from those. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth. Like a Mahindra XTV 750S as low as $135 a month. Or get up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 3-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Tools to find the right fit for the job, and you need tools that are easy to use. That's where Indeed.com comes in. Indeed's advanced algorithm uses the specific details from your job listing to position your job post where more relevant candidates will find it. The right candidates. Screener questions help you zero in on the best talent, while sort and filter tools keep your recruitment organized. It's no surprise an independent study shows there are 5 times more hires made through Indeed than any other job site, more hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results and helping you find qualified candidates faster. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. That's Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
The secret to better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Super Lube it every 3 months or 3,000 miles. The secret to even better gas mileage? Fuel Joules, a gas tank additive that'll increase your MPG by as much as 7%. And today, when you change your oil at Super Lube, you get a free bottle of Fuel Joules. Crystal Matthews and Amber Cossack own Solid Start, the company that makes Fuel Joules.
Every time we sell a bottle of Fuel Joules, a donation will be made to the National Breast Cancer Foundation.
In October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
There are 19 Tallahassee area Super Lubes. There's probably one right around the corner right now. Free offer valid without coupons or discounts.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the 3 amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
The big game is almost here, but you can't afford to go because ticket prices are through the roof. Don't worry, we got your back. Anytix.com offers you the lowest price tickets. Guaranteed. Anytix.com doesn't mark up tickets. Anytix.com has zero. That's right, no buyer, seller, or service fees. For a small monthly fee of $9.99, you get access to all their wholesale tickets. Go to Anytix.com today. That's Anytix, Tixx. Enter the coupon code ESPN Tally and get 20% off your subscription. Anytix.com, changing the way you buy tickets.
Do you like video games, live music, dancing, and having fun with your friends? Swing by the new Fire Betty's, located in Midtown on Thomasville Road and 5th Avenue. Not only can you quench your thirst, but now Fire Betty's offers a new fun food menu as well. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m., there's something fun going on every night. From trivia on Wednesdays to live music on Fridays, hospitality nights on Thursdays, and unique music video DJ Saturdays. Come take a trip down memory lane and make some new ones too. Happy hour at Fire Betty's is Tuesday through Saturday from 5 to 8 p.m. And don't forget about Sunday Fun Day with the NFL Red Zone, liquid brunch and drink specials all day, starting at 3 p.m. For catering or private parties, message Fire Betty's on Facebook.
College football programs know the importance of recruiting. If they want to compete at the highest level, they need to bring on the best talent, people who have the skills and drive to be a success. The same is true in business. Recruiting is vital. And with ZipRecruiter, you'll have a smarter and simpler way to assemble your own winning team. With just one click, you can post your job to over 100 job boards. Then ZipRecruiter's matching technology identifies relevant talent fast. 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within 24 hours. And your ZipRecruiter dashboard helps keep everything in one place, so it's easy to review and rank the candidates with the best experience. You'll be building a powerhouse program in no time. Choose the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter, official hiring partner of the Florida State Seminoles.
For your free trial, go to ZipRecruiter.com/GoNoles. ZipRecruiter.com/GoNoles. Once again, for a free trial, go to ZipRecruiter.com/GoNoles.
Redemption Thursday on The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by FranksAutoWorld.com. Ranked by Car Gurus as the best used car dealer in Tallahassee. Check out the best selection of pre-owned vehicles in Tallahassee at FranksAutoWorld.com. Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Experimag of Tallahassee. Experimag, Tallahassee's trusted tech source for Apple. Stopping at 346 South Magnolia Drive or call at 765-2012 today.
ESPN Radio, our thanks to Jimbo Fisher for the Mountain Dew coach interview. LSU overcame a 20-point deficit to come back on Auburn in a game that makes no sense. It's 20-0 in the second quarter. Did you watch any of that game?
That was not one I caught, no.
LSU just decided out of desperation we're going to blitz on every play, and Auburn never adjusted. And it was really rather remarkable to watch. And then there's a special teams touchdown, and that's a bad loss for Auburn. I mean, it's 20-0. They've got that game won. And you're looking at all these comebacks. There were a lot of them. And Auburn in the first quarter was cruising, and then it all goes south. It's it's a weekend that once again fortifies the thought that Georgia's for real. Nearly 700 yards of offense for them against Missouri. I mean, I know it's Missouri, but 700 yards is 700 yards. Alabama, I tweeted something out, and I think some people take issue with this. I think, though, when you look at Alabama, they can be had, but I don't know by anybody in the SEC. You know, Alabama, somebody rightfully tweeted back at me. I said that Alabama was average. I think, what I should have clarified. I think Alabama's average by Alabama standards, by some of the better Alabama teams we've seen. They're very good all over the field except for quarterback. And I feel like if they had a kid that could competently and consistently throw the football from the pocket, they'd be even better. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know who would be able to expose them. And really, typically, the only people that do are ones with elite quarterbacks. So I don't – you look at their schedule, I don't know where that's going to happen. It's not going to be Auburn. I thought for a time it might be. It'll have to be in the playoff. And we'll see. I mean, listen.
Or the SEC title game.
Oh, against Georgia? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just – it's hard to hang your hat on a freshman quarterback to beat Alabama. And here's the thing. The kid Fromm's good, but Georgia doesn't really rely on him to win the game for them.
No, they call a good game around him.
Oh, and they run the hell out of the football, and they also play an attacking style of defense, which is a lot of fun to watch. All kinds of tackles for loss, Tom. Imagine that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so there's that. Something else happened over the weekend. Watching, it gets worse and worse for Nebraska. Can you imagine, when was the last time, I have to look this up, that Nebraska was a 24-point underdog at home in Lincoln, and then they get beat 56-14? Those poor people. I mean, damn, man.
What a 20-year ride it's been.
It's unbelievable what continues to happen with that program. That's rather remarkable. But you look at the AP teams that lose to unranked teams in one weekend, it's hard to imagine. But Clemson, obviously, to Syracuse, Washington to Arizona State, and not Chris Peterson's brightest moment, by the way.
What was the line, like 20-plus?
Ridiculous. Washington State gets absolutely smoked on Friday night. That's never close. It wasn't even competitive. Although I do question whether or not you should be playing football if the people working the game are wearing gas masks. But they were. I mean, you have personnel there wearing these masks. Well, go ahead, kids, take the field.
Not for Laramie Tunsil reasons.
It was nuts. Auburn to LSU. San Diego State gets smoked by Boise State. Texas Tech to West Virginia, which I actually thought would happen. And then Navy gets beat up by Memphis. So you have, again, a lot of teams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, as I said, losing in week 7 to unranked opponents. Weird that it almost felt destined to when we were talking about what a sorry week of games it was with no matchups of top 10 teams, top 20 teams. So that happens. And what we learned was that when that happened a year ago, when the massacre, the bloodletting occurred, was that Clemson, who also lost that weekend, then benefited from Michigan losing that weekend to Iowa and a lot of teams that did that, is that you almost get a free pass because now everybody's saddled with a loss.
As we're up against it, is it all right if I disclose the stat of the weekend, please? Can I tell the stat of the weekend we talked about earlier today?
Sure.
This is my favorite stat,
Okay.
maybe ever. So I'm watching the 1 o'clocks ahead of the Bucks game at 4, which is its own segment. And I'm watching New Orleans and Detroit because for whatever reason it's on 3 of like the 9 TVs. So
and you never stopped watching it like 41-10. You kept watching.
Well, I was flipping around,
right.
But Detroit's starting to come back, and you're like, no way, they're not going to blow this huge lead. But every time I turned my head to the game, there was a pass deflection, and it was like little underneath passes in front of the line of scrimmage, and just D linemen getting their hands up. It was mostly the D line. I thought, man, there must have been 8 or 10 pass deflections, and I'm thinking I'm exaggerating in my head. So I go back and look last night. There were 16 pass deflections yesterday by New Orleans defense against the Lions offense.
And Matthew Stafford
pass deflections.
And Matthew Stafford is not small. Like, he's not a short guy. He's a big dude. How does that happen?
16 times. He threw the ball 52 times. On 16 of them, the passes were deflected.
And the Saints scored 3 touchdowns on defense. So, by the way, I was talking about how good the Saints defense is. I know statistically that's not a pretty, but they are a lot better. That's a weird game. That's a really weird game.
Most of them are at the line of scrimmage. That's so frustrating to watch as a fan when it happens 3 times in a game. Can you elevate the damn ball? How about 16 times?
Yeah, that'll hurt your feelings. By the way, that's not the stat of the weekend. The stat of the weekend was that I didn't lose a single game on Redemption Thursday, not one. But Ira Schoffel joins us next. WarChant.com, Ira Schoffel next. Stay tuned.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahendra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra Emax 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Credit more than they could ever help. So remember, credit score under 600? Come on in. Recent bankruptcy? Come on in. Recently divorced? Come on in. Think you have a financial problem we've never heard of? Come on in to Kraft Nissan and come see the one dealer in Tallahassee that can really help you out. Come see the cars that everyone wants at the hottest dealer in town, Kraft Nissan. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco, or visit us on the web at craftnissan.com.
Football season is in full swing, and so is AAA One Transmission. AAA One Transmission is locally owned and operated by Tim Pridgett, who's been servicing the Tallahassee area for over 37 years. Brakes, transmissions, electrical systems, tune-ups, and battery checks. No matter what ails your vehicle, AAA One Transmission can make your automobile healthy again. Don't put off your auto repairs. Stop it at 1023 North Monroe Street or call them at 222-2532.
Sports are defined by stats and performance, but here's a performance stat that no one wants to talk about. Erectile dysfunction affects half of all men over 40. That's 50%. If you're struggling with ED and other therapies haven't worked, isn't it time to feel like yourself again? Learn about a long-lasting ED solution from Coloplast to get you back in the game. Visit Dr. DeLay at Advanced Urology Institute, located at 2000 Centerpoint Boulevard, or call their office and set up an appointment today. 833-4DRDELAY. That's 833-4, Dr. DeLay. The sooner you seek treatment, the sooner you can get back to feeling like your normal self. That's 833-4, Dr. DeLay.
Here's a list of reasons why AT&T Prepaid is a great prepaid choice, according to Julius and Deb.
When you switch to AT&T Prepaid, you get a new ZTE Maven 3 smartphone for free.
When you switch to AT&T Prepaid, you get a new ZTE Maven 3 smartphone for free.
I just said that.
Well, it's worth repeating.
AT&T Prepaid has no annual contracts.
And AT&T's reliable network.
There's no hidden fees.
No credit checks.
No compromises.
No strings attached.
AT&T Prepaid has plans for people who like great prices.
Plans for people who like great deals.
Flexibility.
Reliability.
Customers named Deb.
Customers named Julius.
Customers in Albuquerque.
Customers in Springfield.
Which one?
All of them.
The list is long.
Really long.
Thanks, Julius. Thanks, Deb.
You're welcome, announcer guy.
No matter your reason, switch to AT&T Prepaid to get a new ZTE Maven 3 smartphone for free and all the advantages of AT&T's reliable network with no compromises.
Limited time offer available at participating AT&T stores. Requires new line of service, $45 or $65 plan and auto pay. Reliable network claim per third-party sources. Fees, coverage, and other restrictions apply. Details at att.com/prepaid.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, Cleveland's LeBron James remains a question mark for tomorrow's season opener against Boston. James went through the team walkthrough today, but Coach Tyronn Lue says he still doesn't know if James will play. He has a sore ankle. Nuggets have joined the Bucks in pursuing forward Richard Jefferson, who's expected to clear waivers at 5 Eastern today. The ALCS resumes tonight, Game 3, Yankees-Astros, 7 Eastern, ESPN Radio. New York did very little against Dallas Keuchel and Justin Verlander in losing the first 2 games. How can Charlie Morton duplicate their success in his start tonight? ESPN's Eduardo Perez weighs in.
That fastball is going to be electric. He can use it up in the zone from 96 to 97, and then he can throw it down in the zone the same speed, but with a 2-seam action. We saw a lot of action from him against the Red Sox. He was really good when he was in trouble because that 2-seamer was working well.
Yankees counter with CC Sabathia. NFL Vikings quarterback Teddy Bridgewater cleared to practice beginning on Wednesday, reports ESPN's Chris Mortensen. Bridgewater's on the PUP list, recovering from knee surgery.
The Nissan Heisman House is back. Rush over to NissanHeismanHouse.com to enter for a chance to win a new Nissan Titan. No purchase necessary. Ends December 8th, 2017. Open to residents of the USDC 18 or older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Experamac of Tallahassee. Experamac, Tallahassee's trusted tech source for Apple. Stopping at 346 South Magnolia Drive or call at 765-2012 today.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hope you're doing well on this Monday. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. If you do, you'll find it on iTunes. You'll find it in our own audio vault. You can email the show if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameron Show. WTSM app for your mobile devices, and you can always watch us perform the show on YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. We welcome him in every Monday. My buddy Irash Fell, warchant.com, who wrote, and I like that he did it kind of in italics. My favorite line, really almost of the whole year, was you repeating Jimbo Fisher's "It looked like a football team," Ira.
Yeah, when he said it, I did a double take in the press conference when he said it, because it's something I'll say like from time to time sarcastically watching it. I'm sure you do, everybody does. It's like, wow, that looks like football.
Yeah.
And he said it, and talking about the first drive of that game. And, it's just, and I think that was kind of, I think it was a little bit of an insight into, that he realizes this team is obviously not playing good football, and but he's trying to find as many positives as he can.
Well, and that was the crux of the article, was that basically, look, at this point, they are what they are, for lack of a better term or phrase, and you got to find a way to salvage something from a lost season. And the only way to do that is to get wins where you can get them and really kind of harp on the positive. You get it from Jimbo Fisher's standpoint. And you note in the article, for those that didn't read it, go to warchant.com, you can find it. That doesn't mean that it's satisfying for fans. Doesn't mean it's something that makes you feel better about the season at hand, but it's something that the coach has to do.
Yeah, I mean, you're 5 games in now. I just think that you're 5 games in, and your 2 wins are against Duke and Wake Forest. So, I mean, screaming and ranting and raving, I think at this point obviously isn't going to get it done. Clearly, the DeAndre Francois injury was a big deal, no doubt. Start with Alabama, obviously I think had an effect on this team. But there are bigger issues. There are big issues with that defense. I came away from that game very unimpressed by FSU's defense, even though they held them to 10 points. But I think the offense is coming. I do too. I think he's smart to really kind of ride Patrick and Akers. I think that's their identity now. And I asked him about that after the game. I think those guys, if this season becomes salvaged to some degree, I think Jaquez Patrick and Cam Akers are going to be the reason why. And I think that you can't possibly be on that team, watch those guys run the way they run, and not want to go play, not be inspired. And I think the way Louisville has struggled to play run defense, obviously this past week, again, I just think that suits well to FSU. I'm not saying FSU's clearly going to win this game or easily going to win this game, but I think he's got to stick with that. And I think he should have done it a little bit earlier, to be honest. I thought he put a little too much on Blackman as soon as he took over the starting job, but here they are now, and I think that running game, I think it's going to do wonders for this entire team. Now, at the same time, I'm still not seeing anything great from that defense. It wouldn't surprise me if Louisville went up and down the field this week. I have a hard time believing they're not. So, there's still a lot of problems. But, I think that, if you're Jimbo Fisher, you do have to kind of accentuate the positives right now, because they're getting negatives from everywhere else, including themselves. So I think he's being their biggest cheerleader, and I think that, I'm not saying it's going to work over the long term, but it may give them the best chance they've got.
I think it is the best chance they got. I think you can ride the running game. It also keeps your defense off the field if it's working. That said, I'm with you. We saw this game very much the same. I actually came away a little bit more impressed with the offense than the numbers would have suggested in terms of total points, because they had opportunities there and they ran the ball effectively and they did some things well. I wish he would stick with tempo or a little bit faster tempo like he did in that opening drive, first couple drives really. I think it helps him get into the rhythm and it doesn't allow defenses to kind of get set and always be lined up properly. But we'll see. He'll look back at the film and decide whether that's something they can continue to do. But defensively,
if I can interrupt you real quick on the tempo thing,
yeah,
I don't know, man. I kind of see where he's coming from with this team. I mean, again, you have a first-year quarterback who knows what all he knows, and we've seen him have some really bad first halves before this game, and then you've got this receiver core that's banged up and even when it's healthy has not been very good overall, other than Auden Tate. So I don't know that I'm trying to run 80 plays with this offense. I get it. I understand the criticism, but this isn't an offense where I'd be like, man, I got to get more plays. Especially, and then that defense, again, if you go 3 and out, you got to throw that defense out there. So there have been times where I've been critical of Jimbo and the tempo. With this team in this situation, I don't know if I don't know if that's a big problem.
Well, I would say, I'm not saying I want to run 85 plays or 80 plays. I like there to be some semblance of tempo. This was the first time that he's really done it this year, and I think you can snap the ball with 10 seconds on the play clock. I don't need it to be, every time down to 1 second or 2 seconds, and he did a lot of that prior to this game. We saw some, you can get a kid in rhythm that way too. That opening drive, I know it's scripted, but that's about as good a drive as a drive can look. The play calling was very simple, even with tempo. You're right. He probably doesn't have a real firm grasp on everything in the playbook, but you can run what you run a little bit quicker. The rolling him out of the pocket time and again off of play action, that's a beautiful decision. You cut the field in half, and you can do that. You can do that, rather quickly. Is the only thing I would say, because I think it's a one read and go sort of situation, and even receivers that don't consistently run. I mean, look, Nooney Murray got involved this way as well, and he hasn't done anything all year long. So I would like to see that a little bit quicker. But the point would be this: their bigger problem is defensively. What they're doing with these athletes, which is largely nothing. You don't see tackles for loss. You never see them get to the quarterback. Their corners are playing off coverage on 3rd and 5, 10 yards off of the ball. It's bizarre to watch this. And that would say to me that those guys have no faith whatsoever in Charles Kelly or themselves.
Yeah, the thing is, man, and that's why really the biggest reason I picked Duke last week, not to win, but to cover. And I turned out to be wrong. At 6.5, I was wrong. I was way off by half point.
But on 7, you got to push. Except for I'm the house. I'm on the house. You're going to lose that one. But all right.
But to be honest with you, the biggest reason was it was the interviews we did with defensive players last week. I don't know if you watched them, and I didn't make a big deal about it at the time because it's hard. We don't know those guys well enough to read into what they're saying. But if you go back and watch the defensive backs talk about the defense and Charles Kelly, and they were all asked questions about, how much they believe in Charles Kelly, the calls that are played.
Yeah, I saw Derwin and I saw Lane. Yeah, I saw those two.
It was for a team whose defensive coordinator is being skewered every week nationally and locally and on message boards and social media. It was a tepid defense, and even in that, Erman Lane at one point said, sometimes they'll call a play and guys will start kind of talking about whether they like the play, and then we just have to play the play. And it's like, I mean, that tells you kind of all you need to know. I don't think they believe in what they're doing defensively, and I'm not saying they're right. A lot of times players aren't right. They think they should be doing certain things, and sometimes coaches know better. And I would say, again, going back to the Miami game, 2 or 3 of the biggest plays, it wasn't like FSU had the wrong call to cover 2. They didn't play it right. The touchdown to Berrios that I asked Jimbo to clarify, the nickelback had wrong leverage. I mean, but at the end of the day, you've got to get them to believe in what they're doing, and I think that's a problem. I think this defense doesn't necessarily believe in what they're doing, and I think you see that on the field.
Yeah, to your point, you're right. Sometimes players are wrong, but this would reveal to all who are paying attention that they're not convinced that what they're being told to do is the right thing to do. Moreover, they're certainly not lining up with a belief that they're going to make a play if they're second-guessing the play call time and again. It's surprising to see that. It would suggest that there is a disconnect between the coordinator and the players, without question.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that ultimately, if I'm Jimbo Fisher, I'm deciding maybe we've got kids who aren't, as coachable as we wanted, or maybe for whatever reason that message isn't getting across. And I just there's something wrong there on that staff or the relationship between the staff and the players. Whatever it is, that defense is not playing the way you'd expect it to play. Now I get it, and I asked Jimbo today about the lack of pressure, and I understand from a scheme standpoint, Duke wasn't dropping back and holding the ball, and they were doing so much zone read stuff, and there's a lot of things they do to slow down the pass rush. But there were times he did drop back, and there wasn't any pass rush. And you know what? After 5 games, they have 9 sacks with a team with this much athleticism, and we know how much talent they have on the defensive side of the ball. So, it's underperformed. And I, again, even though they held Duke to 10 points, I didn't think Duke played well. I think if Duke played well in that game, I think that could have been a loss, because I think Duke had some things offensively they could have hit that they didn't hit, and FSU's defense never really forced the issue.
No, and they typically don't. I didn't think David Cutcliffe called a good game, and I didn't think that their offense executed well. They're going backwards. Actually, the oddity here is that you could argue that Florida State caught Duke at just the right time, and that they're coming off of back-to-back losses, one to Virginia, one to Miami. So they didn't have a lot of confidence in what they were doing either. And Florida State, at the end of the day, capitalized enough. And they got out to a lead, and so Duke was always chasing. But yes, I think it's going to be imperative that Florida State get out to a lead against Louisville and put them in a position to second guess, because obviously that program and that team is going backwards too currently. This is a demoralizing loss for Louisville against Boston College, and yet I don't know that I expect Florida State's defense to get stops here. And so I'll ask you my favorite Jeff Cameron Show question, which is the race is to?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say the race is to 30. I think the race is to 30. Louisville, it may be 35. Louisville is struggling, but they're going to put up points.
Right.
And there's no doubt about it.
Yes, they will.
Over the last 2 years, I think they've only had 2 games where they've scored less than 25. So it's not, and those were the Houston game and the LSU game late last season. But yeah, they'll score, like you said, they scored 42 in a loss. They're going to score points, especially against an FSU defense that I'm not convinced they're going to play it well. I mean, and Jimbo, somebody asked Jimbo today, what would you do differently, or what would you want to do against Lamar Jackson? He said, I'd like to have 13 guys on the field. Well, that would be good, but if you had 11 guys playing together and sticking in their gaps and doing their job, I think you'd have a much better chance than you did last year. They might as well have had 9 guys on the field last year, because so many of them were in the wrong gap.
So we'll say it's 32.5. We'll split the difference. That gives FSU a blank % chance of winning the game.
I think they've got about a 55% chance of winning the game.
55%? So you think Louisville's in more disarray than Florida State?
Well, I think their defense is awful, and it's going to be here. I don't think I'd lay the 7, but I do think Florida State has a decent chance of winning the game.
Louisville so far this year, while you're on the horn here, has scored 35, 47, 21. They lost to Clemson 47-21. 42, 55, 25, and 42. That's what they've scored so far this year. So just the one game where they only scored 21 points. If Florida State was to hold Louisville to 28 points, we should have a parade. I would be stunned if that number's 28. I mean, I'm going to break out the original 307, baby. The flags need to be flying high at the game this Saturday. Get your 307 flags out. That's what we've gotten to. And if they get the win here, though, if Florida State is to win the game, do you feel as comfortable moving forward as you once did about the at Boston College game and the home Syracuse game?
Oh, man. It's just crazy. Well, look, I mean, to be honest, we said this a couple weeks ago, that really, at this point, it's about Florida State. And it doesn't really matter who they play other than Delaware State. there's no game they couldn't lose. I thought they could lose at Duke, and I think they could lose to. I still not sure they can lose to Boston College, but man, maybe. I don't know. I think everything's on the table. If you don't play better than they played, and again, I do think they've made some progress. I do think this running back thing is the real deal. I think that they can. I think they're going to be able to run the ball against just about anybody, and I think that's going to help this entire team. But I'm not convinced that defense is going to turn it around. There's nothing I've seen through 5 games that makes me think, okay, that's going to be a really good defense at any point this season, other than against like maybe Florida. I don't think they're going to have a great game all season. So I think every game's up for grabs.
Well, hell, Texas A&M and anybody else has a great game against Florida on defense. That's anybody. That's anybody right now. Like, oh, thank God we got Florida next. All right, brother. Good talking to you. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you, Jeff.
All right, take care. You know why? I think he's right about the defense, besides the fact that there's a disconnect there, as we were just describing. Man, a lot of defense is a whole lot about want to. You got to want to stick your head in there. You got to want to fill. You got to want to tackle.
I agree with you, but if there is going to be a want to week, it would be this week because of what happened last season, yes?
Oh, well, you'd like to believe that. I mean, Levante Taylor said that, right? He mentioned that they were looking at this game through the lens of what happened a year ago. And then Jimbo Fisher immediately comes out and says, well, last year. That was a different team. That game's behind us. We don't really think about it.
Might want to flip the script and say, all right, we're playing press man. Good luck. Everyone, good luck tonight. And then we have one, Derwin's in the box or whoever it is in the box, and we're going to be watching Lamar. Good luck, guys.
If you were on that defense a year ago and Louisville not only did whatever they wanted to do, but taunted you in the meantime, in the between plays, and continued to do so, and in truth, could have scored 80, maybe 90 points in that game. Go back and watch at the point that it gets so out of control. There are a couple moments where I thought, if they care to, if they want to set a record, they can easily score 80. I was worried about 100. I can't imagine that you were out there on that field at any point and saw that, had that happen to you, felt the embarrassment that followed, that you haven't thought about this game since. But I don't know if that's true. When you don't believe in what you're doing or what you're part of, and you don't connect with a coach, then you go through the motions. I mean, we've all worked places where we didn't like our boss, or we didn't think that what we were doing was anything more than menial labor. Like we've all been there, right? We all had jobs where you're like, this is just a paycheck. And you're not going the extra mile when you work a job that you feel like, man, I'm buying time. I'm getting through this until I can get the next thing. If you got a bunch of kids who are thinking about, well, I got a future in the league and our season's a wash as it is, and I don't trust this guy next to me and I don't believe in this coach, then you'll see guys go through the motions. And if they go through the motions like they did a year ago against Louisville, Lamar's the kind of guy, man, you have to be committed. He's difficult. He's a badass.
You'll be committed, and he'll still beat you plenty of times.
Right. So you have to really want to make stops. You got to take great pride in that. And you got to show a whole lot of hustle, effort, want to, all of that. And I would think it's going to be there. It's a home game. And obviously it's a chance to kind of get a measure of revenge and maybe even get a little momentum. I mean, get back to 500. But the
nooner hurts.
The nooner does hurt, man. I would have liked this to have been at night, but you'd have to win against somebody other than Duke and Wake to get a night game.
Well, can we give it to Raycom and just put it on at night?
We could just shop it. Guys, please.
Bright House Sports in Tampa?
Yeah, brutal. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth. Like a Mahindra XTV 750S as low as $135 a month. Or get up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 3-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
97.9 ESPN Radio, Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Hey, this is Clay Culpepper with Miller's Tree Service. Summertime is here and storm season is right around the corner. We offer free consultations with a certified arborist where we meet with you and advise you on which trees are healthy, diseased, dead, or ones that may need trimming or even removal.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Give us a call at 894-TREE.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he wants it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary. Get your history lesson weekdays at 5:30 during the Jeff Cameron Show, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Look at that mouth. That poor, parched mouth. So dry. What'd you eat for lunch? Chalk dust? Did your mouth cannonball into a barrel of mothballs? You're being awfully quiet. Is that because your mouth feels like the business end of a Dremel saw? Is it because your mouth just wrote a haiku and all 17 syllables were dry heaves? You're so parched. You know it. I know it. The entire radio knows it. Just admit it. You want a Mountain Dew. Your mouth feels like it just inhaled the insides of a punching bag, and the only remedy is that neon green potion. Right now, your mouth could be tongue bathing in the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Instead, it feels like you've been motorboating King Tut's sarcophagus. Show some mercy. Crack open an ice cold Mountain Dew. You know your mouth wants you to. Do the Dew.
Nothing quite beats authentic Italian food and a Pepsi. Indulge your taste buds and experience all the flavor of Italy right here in Tallahassee. Visit Urban Food Market today, located in the center of Tallahassee. Urban Food Market, proud to serve Pepsi.
Can't decide between fresh steak, seafood, or wings? Well, Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway has it all. From center-cut sirloin and original pastas to fresh salads and favorites like Miller's Signature Zingers, tossed in your favorite sauce. Miller's Ale House has a full-service bar featuring more than 75 beers, plus wine and liquors. Bring the family to watch the big game inside or on their covered patio on one of over 60 HD TVs. However you come to relax, you will have a good time and great food at Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
97.9 ESPN Radio. Fellas, email. He doesn't say email, but I say email after he writes fellas. Group of my friends and I, for many years, have enjoyed the season together despite living all around the country. We talk throughout the week. We know what the other teams are doing. We're invested in the Noles. Not so much anymore. We're worn the hell out, I guess. I have no idea who's in the top 10, and I'm not the only one. That's astounding. The whole thing has become such a grind. It's entertainment in the end, and it has to earn my money and time. I love the Noles, but it has to be enjoyable. And it's that much easier to tune out when you don't know the team anyhow. When Mickey Andrews struggled, I cared and invested in Mickey Andrews. The new corporate culture of college football is transactional. Like giving me what I need? Cool. Call me when you do. I'm betting I'm far from alone. Keep up the good work, AJ. He said the subject heading there was easy to disengage, press ban. Coverage isn't there, so he's saying...
It's well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's... not happy. That's one of many emails we get saying something similar. It's not a likable team right now. I'll just say this: we're in the ride it out mode, and that's a tough place to be because you kind of feel like you're in limbo. You know, you love your squad, you love your university, you love your team, and you want to see them do better. But until some things change, they're not going to do better, and yet you got to play these games, and so you just continue to get bludgeoned by average football being played by elite players, and that makes you angrier. And unless you aren't watching, you're going to be angry, I think, to some degree every week. There's going to be something that is confounding, that you just wonder how in the world that could be possible. I think that mature fans, people who've been around the block and watched their teams over the years be good or be bad or something in between, can live with losses. If you're maximizing talent, if you're getting the most out of your players, if you're putting them in positions to succeed, occasionally you run up against a team that's better than you, or you go through a cycle where you whiff on a kid or two, maybe injuries hurt you in a given year, and you're depleted to the point where you're not able to compete against the best of the best. But in a place like this, certainly when you are recruiting as well as Jimbo Fisher has recruited, and he's a really good recruiter, and you have very good players, many of whom are objectively very good, in that if you look at the projections of the NFL draft, you can see how many of them are going to go in the first two rounds. The NFL is not in the habit of drafting guys they don't think can play. So you watch these guys, and then when you don't see the successes or the level of play that you're accustomed to or should expect with elite talent, you get disappointed, you get frustrated. It's true, years like this happen. We talked about that year Florida went 4-8. The talent on that team alone should not have allowed them to go 4-8. It happened. And when it happens with kids, younger players who aren't being paid the way they are in the NFL, where they don't necessarily adopt a professional mindset, and their goals are off the table, you know, you can get into that rut where you watch guys just kind of play out the string. It ain't pretty.
Yeah, this is a week of competing emotions, right? It's the emotion of being on the field, as Ira was, kind of talking about, and you were talking about with him, feeling lost or feeling unsure. Unsure is enough. It doesn't have to be lost.
Being in limbo is a bad feeling.
If you're unsure, I mean, we see it. You can see that translate on the field. I mean, think about Nate Andrews, right? On the throw over the top for NC State, where they score their long touchdown. There's no reason he needs to be in the backfield, but he's stuck in between. He's thinking. He's not sure. And that's why you get beat on that play for a touchdown. That's all it took. And you can see that on the film or on the replay. And I can tell you that, the thing I love about football the most, really, as I've grown up, is that if you go back and rewatch a game, every play is a story. I mean, you can break down the hell out of a play while understanding it's only one of, 60 to 80 a game per team. It's just there's a story in the trenches, on the perimeter, the coverages, what the quarterback sees, everything. I enjoy doing that with the offense still because there's a lot to love about the offense and the effort it brings to the table. Again, the first third down of the game.
They're not always successful, but yeah.
I mean, Jacques Patrick has to will that first down to be. That 12-play touchdown drive doesn't happen. And how many times have we said that about 9 this year? about how much heart he showed.
No,
he did it again in the second half.
He's having a good year, yeah.
He's having a good year. He's showing heart. He's playing with heart, and you've got a true freshman quarterback who clearly cares. He doesn't think this is a lost season. He sees it as an opportunity, and he's playing to learn. And even the interactions he has with Jimbo.
Yeah, and that's where you feel betrayed. Like, you, as a fan, it's one thing to say, gosh, they're not reaching their expectations. They're not reaching their goals. They're not playing up to their capability. But as a player, if you're involved in that, like some of the guys you just mentioned are, and then you see people on the other side of the ball, like we were just mentioning, kind of going through the motions or being lost, or you feel like the coaches are letting down the players, then that can be really, really, really aggravating and difficult to play through. They're showing a level of maturity there, yeah.
Well, and the fun part is, too, as a fan who I study as much as I can without being in a coach's room, you know, there are limitations. It's like being 7 or 8 years old reading a novel and using context and decoding clues without breaking out the dictionary to see, you know, what could this actually mean? What could they be asked to do on this play? What were the responsibilities? For example, we were looking today in the studio at the play over the top on third down where A.J. Westbrook...
Where you're talking about losing contain?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the key to the play is the loss contained by Kando.
It's huge. That's a real problem.
He's on a twist with Sweat. But Westbrook in the back end, we're debating whether or not, you know, is it right for Westbrook to have broken down where Taylor is because his receiver was freed up. But the point of the whole play is that you didn't hold contain.
Well, you lost contain, and once you lose contain and allow a quarterback to buy time, somebody's going to get open. I mean, the lesson to learn always is that when a kid's got 5 and 6 seconds to throw the football, somebody's going to be wide open.
But at the end of the day, I still enjoy doing that, you know, very, very specifically for the offense, and for the defense, I just let the tape roll.
Well,
and that's where we are, I think, as fans.
When you watch the tape roll, you don't understand why they don't marry the back end with the front end and why they're able to play such a passive defense with so many elite athletes is beyond me. It's really very aggravating.
No, the coaches have to still do that. But for me, rewatching the game, it's like, man, it's going to be different next year anyway, and we'll find out who's going to be the guy coaching them up. I don't know anything, but that's the way I think it's going to be. So screw it. Let's watch the offense and see what they do.
Can you imagine? I mean, if you had been able to pull, when I went to the ACC kickoff in Charlotte, when I talked to Coach Fisher, can you imagine if I had said, you know, I had a crystal ball, Coach, you're going to lose that Alabama game, but with it, maybe the heart and soul of what's left in the season. I mean, you're going to lose the starting quarterback. It's going to be tough on you. From there, your defense is going to really begin to show that they're not any better. And the disconnect is still there. And your decision to stick with Coach Kelly and the rest of that staff has really let you down. And unfortunately, you're going to have to go through this year with, at best, a modicum of success on defense. And you're going to have games that are awfully hard to win against the likes of Wake and Duke. And you're just kind of trying to salvage the season the remainder of the way. I mean, there's no way he could have believed that to be true with the way they ended last year. You know, the big win over Michigan in the Orange Bowl, the defense riding the ship to some extent. Now, it could have been fool's gold. We didn't see a lot of spread tempo teams in that time. And so, you know, this is going to be a great test here, and that they will run it, and they'll do exactly what they did a year ago, meaning why would you do anything different until FSU shows you they are better and that they can handle it? I would do exactly what I did a year ago if I was Petrino, and then obviously adjust accordingly if they figured out something. But I would find out right off the bat, do they have the will to do it, the knowledge to do it? Are they disciplined enough to do it? We'll see.
I'd hazard a guess and say this is a big week for micromanager Jimbo, I would think.
Oh, I think he's on the verge of going to be on the verge anyhow of exhaustion by the time they kick it off Saturday at noon. Yeah, because then you get a respite in terms of preparation for Boston College. Now, it's a short week, but BC's not exactly presenting the same sort of challenge offensively.
They don't have a Lamar Jackson that's keeping you up late at night.
Right.
Yeah.
So Jimbo is quite honestly going to have to be doing an awful lot. Yeah, I don't think there's any question. It's whew.
I think the hard part about this game is simply put, you know, the defense has been inconsistent this year, showing flashes of the potential. There are sequences where you say, yeah, that's what you can be. The Alabama game, there were a lot of those where you go, well, effort, passion, tenacity, physicality.
Toughness.
All of it.
A lot of it was there, yeah.
First half of the Miami game, you know, playing with leverage and down and distance leverage, all that stuff. But that drive at 7-3 before, you know, the toss pass interception was the first time all season, at least personally, I watched that and I go, wait a minute, do they care? Do they care anymore?
Well, and again, we get back to the fact that they weren't tackling. They're getting gashed by the run on that drive, and they're not even so much getting gashed as in they're not willing to fill or they missed an assignment. They're not willing to tackle. They're not physical in the moment.
They're finding blocks, kind of a thing.
Finding blocks, and they're letting a guy fight out of a tackle. Like the guy is showing extra effort, which is what you're supposed to do, obviously, as a runner. And the defender's kind of like, oh, man, this just means too much to him. That scared me. But, just when you think that you're about to just mail it in, they go out and they make plays or they do something to kind of get you re-engaged. I can tell you, there was something about and I know we're up against it, but there was something about Saturday's game that struck a nerve. Maybe it's the name Duke. But there's something about, and that's Sorry Stadium or whatever, but something about Saturday's game that pissed our fan base off. It's weird. They reacted more passionately in a negative way about that game than they did in Miami.
Yeah, I could see why, though. It makes total sense to me, because last week you said something, and I thought it was pretty funny. Can we just beat somebody's ass?
Yeah, well, I find myself thinking that and feeling that. We can't just beat somebody's ass.
And that's why. That's it right there.
Yeah, we're incapable right now of just beating somebody's ass. No, it's very aggravating because what happens is you look all around this conference, you look all around the country, and while you see upsets, 7 of them this week in the top 20, that's, you go, well, see, anybody, Syracuse just beat Clemson. Yeah. You also see good teams, when given the opportunity, smoking bad teams. I mean, Ohio State just beat Nebraska 56-14. I know Nebraska's not very good, but Ohio State did what you did to a team that's not very good on the road. You see these – Alabama does it all the time. They just did it again this weekend. They play these average teams, and they beat the bejesus out of them. So, yeah, we used to do that. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Split skirt.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra Emax 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from LoCash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Jefferson, who's expected to clear waivers at 5 Eastern today. The ALCS resumes tonight, Game 3, Yankees-Astros, 7 Eastern, ESPN Radio. New York did very little against Dallas Keuchel and Justin Verlander in losing the first 2 games. How can Charlie Morton duplicate their success in his start tonight? ESPN's Eduardo Perez weighs in.
That fastball is going to be electric. He can use it up in the zone from 96 to 97, and then he can throw it down in the zone the same speed, but with a 2-seam action. We saw a lot of action from him against the Red Sox. He was really good when he was in trouble because that 2-seamer was working well.
Yankees counter with CC Sabathia. NFL Vikings quarterback Teddy Bridgewater cleared to practice beginning on Wednesday, reports ESPN's Chris Mortensen. Bridgewater's on the PUP list, recovering from knee surgery.
The Nissan Heisman House is back. Rush over to NissanHeismanHouse.com to enter for a chance to win a new Nissan Titan. No purchase necessary. Ends December 8th, 2017. Open to residents of the USDC 18 or older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
Charlie is all over the place. He's so unorganized. How do I get him to be more responsible with his academics? I've tried everything.
Hi, I'm Lance Davis. Let Engaged Academics help your child learn how to work through these common issues. Visit engagedacademics.org for more information. That's engagedacademics.org.
At Whole Foods Market, we believe in real food. Food that's full of nutrients, naturally vivid and colorful, fresh and delicious. Food that connects you to your body, to the seasons, and to the natural world. We believe food should nourish you and help you think. It should help you feel calm, clear-headed, and strong. It should help you do more, sleep better, and wake up happier. That's food that lives up to its name. We believe in real food. Whole Foods Market.
The big game is almost here, but you can't afford to go because ticket prices are through the roof. Don't worry, we got your back. Anytix.com offers you the lowest price tickets. Guaranteed. Anytix.com doesn't mark up tickets. Anytix.com has zero. That's right, no buyer, seller, or service fees. For a small monthly fee of $9.99, you get access to all their wholesale tickets. Go to Anytix.com today. That's Anytix, Tixx. Enter the coupon code ESPNTally and get 20% off your subscription. Anytix.com, changing the way you buy tickets.
Hey, Fido!
Yes, bud?
Hey, have you heard about that Hair of the Dog sports bar?
Yeah, it's all everyone's been barking about. It's Midtown's #1 sports bar with over 50 TVs, burgers, loaded nachos and wings, and a massive bar. Plus, Hair of the Dog is human-friendly, but you gotta keep them on a leash.
Sounds like a great place to watch those human teams play catch.
You mean football?
Hair of the Dog sports bar, Midtown, North Monroe behind Brugger's. Best drink prices and juiciest burgers in town.
Sexy French poodles welcome.
Mahindra's inventory clearance is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth, like a Mahindra 750S Camo as low as $135 a month, or up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Only from Mahindra.
North Florida and South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT Super Center, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSupercenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Experamac of Tallahassee. Experamac, Tallahassee's trusted tech source for Apple. Stopping at 346 South Magnolia Drive or call at 765-2012 today.
Like smoking Joe Frazier, the Hellraiser, raising hell with the flavor.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. By the way, what we didn't get to and have a chance to talk about was the confirmation that the NCAA is useless. North Carolina's like, get some suckers. 20-plus years we've been cheating our ass off, running an entire academic department in a bogus fashion for our athletes, and we got nothing. Not even a slap on the wrist. 2 middle fingers to all you guys. Let's play ball. So we suspected a long time ago that the NCAA had lost its teeth for a lot of reasons. But you think back to docking Florida State wins, including taking away the precious Emerald Bowl from the Noles, vacated 22 wins from the basketball team, vacated 16 wins from the women's team, vacated 32 wins from the softball team, adjusted the final standings in golf and men's and women's swimming, scholarship losses and all that after we raised our hand and said there was a rogue tutor. But North Carolina can have a class that doesn't exist. And they're like, sorry.
Think of the NCAA as a marching band, celebrating student athletes in everything they do. Just know we're always there for student athletes.
You know, you can appeal to the NCAA for full reinstatement of all of those wins and records, and I would. I'd say, so this is what we're doing now? Okay, we'd like our wins back, please.
On the basis of the current ruling.
Yeah, we're going to want our wins back. In fact, we're going to take our wins back. That's what we're going to do.
Think of the NCAA as a marching band, celebrating student athletes in everything they do. Just know we're always there for student athletes.
Yeah, it's sad. There are any number of things you could look. If you wanted to spend a lot of time weighing yourself down on this story, really research the North Carolina thing and then look at some surrounding programs. And I'm not just talking about Florida State. Move away from Florida State. They've nailed a ton of other schools for far less in the way of infractions than what North Carolina actually committed and admitted to. And to get nothing, okay, well, all right.
Because the general student body had access to these benefits.
Well, hell, that's the key. They've just given you a blueprint as to how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It can't just be that the athlete only benefits, but rather the general student.
It's the same policy as the football dorms. There's a lottery for the general student population that gets to live in the football dorms, and that keeps everything on the up and up. So here we go.
That's how you do it.
You know, you sign up for a Section 7 of Psych 2000. There you go. That's actually the one that you don't have to do a damn thing. Here's your A. Congratulations, you won the lottery.
Oh, buddy. It makes me laugh. That is something to behold. Hey, we got to cue something up, don't we? We didn't do it yet. Let's do it.
Count 'em up, pour 'em out.
I'll just have a cup of coffee.
There it is. It's Beer 30, brought to you by the 7th Hill Tap Room on Appalachia Parkway.
What do they do on Monday nights?
They do a Mix and Match Monday special at the 7th Hill Tap Room where you get $1 off all their Mix and Match 6-packs.
Because on Tuesday, it's Kick the Keg.
That's right. And it's also going to be a Man Cave Tuesday.
That's right. We're going to be there tomorrow as we gear up and try to, I guess, pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, convince everybody that this is going to be a fun game on Saturday.
We're 0-3 on the Man Cave in the Cameron Lang era. You realize that?
We haven't won a game in the week in which we do a Man Cave?
No, we may have to do a Man Cave for Delaware State just to get a win.
BC, let's do several. Let's do a lot of these. We got to garner a win.
Well, if they rescheduled the ULM game, there was something on the docket that Gene put for December. He said December TBD.
All right.
So maybe that should be.
Maybe we can get you a win there, guys.
I'm an over. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe it's just turning the tide. I've gotten hot with my wagers. I have to carry it over. I don't do well in the midweek wager, though, because it's a Wednesday and I haven't really given it my full attention. I don't know.
You know what you should give your full attention? The 7th Hill Cup Club, where you can get a cup for just $10. It's a green, fancy 7th Hill cup. And you get
save $1 off all drafts after 7 o'clock, Monday through Wednesday, plus all day on Saturday.
Which we need more on Saturdays than ever before.
And crowers to boot.
Oh, yes.
We need lots of crowers.
Mm-hmm.
We need hope. We're bereft of hope. Can the 7th Hill Tap Room dole out some hope?
That's what the H stands for in the 7H.
Can we get some hope to go with that crowler, please? Yeah, that's a toughie.
Because it's like an apartment building. The CP's upstairs, and then the 7H is downstairs.
I'm going to go downstairs and get me some hope. It's a tough, tough time. Damn it, man. I did not see it dissolving into this.
How much hope do you have for Saturday? Ira put it at a 55% chance, even if the game is in the 30s.
Well, the Noles got me a push over the weekend. They were my lone non-win. It wasn't a loss, and if we were doing it the right way, that is a win for me. But the other 9 selections all got me wins. So I don't know. I mean, it's
That kind of feels like the result, too, doesn't it? The result wasn't a win necessarily. It was just kind of a push.
It was a win, damn it.
Well, yeah, it counts as a W.
Never trailed, Tom. Never trailed in this football game. I mean, just see it for what it was. We never trailed. Not a single second of this game. Duke trailed almost the whole game.
And yet it felt like a push.
It felt less satisfying than a win normally does against Duke. Although, in truth, how satisfying are wins over Duke? The one in the ACC championship game was good because we got the limp handshake out of disappointment. Cutcliffe was devastated.
That was just exciting because you were punching your ticket back to the championship game. That's what that was. It was a night of celebration. So that's why that result was excellent. And KB balled out in that game once again.
Yeah. We could use him.
Yeah.
We could use KB.
A lot. I mean,
we could use a lot of the attitude from that team. We could use a defense.
Maybe LaMarcus Joyner.
Like that. Oh, you think? We could use a Jalen Ramsey who's just mean. Really talented, really good, and really mean.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Jalen Ramsey off the field, his
but
antics,
he's a baller.
Even his on-field antics, but we could use him, and I'd sign up yesterday.
Well, the problem is I think if I'm guessing correctly, somebody's driving down the road listening to this show going, what good would it do to have Jalen Ramsey, guys? Kelly would just screw it up. We've got Derwin James now. What good is that doing us?
Well, I'll tell you who we could use. DeMarcus Walker. A pass rush would be nice. How much have we missed that dude this season?
Damn it, man.
Think about how different. We were talking about third and forever. You're like, well, here comes a sack, or here comes a pressure. DeMarcus is about to blow this play up. There he is lined up on a guard. Well, they're screwed.
What a final year he had here, right? I mean, sliding down inside all the time and just abusing guards, playing well on the edge as well. Josh Sweat makes tackles. He's just a run-stopping machine. But, I know he had a sack. Was it his first this year? Got a sack at the end of the game there, or the big set up fourth down, I think it was.
Yeah. I think he had one maybe against Wake, or maybe not. Maybe it was a TFL. Might have been a TFL.
Those are scarce, too. But so there's that. And then, Burns at one point before the year started talked about wanting to lead the country in sacks. He doesn't have one, to my knowledge, like a single one. That suggests that
DeMarcus Walker was important.
We missed DeMarcus Walker. What? You don't tune in for this, right? We're just bludgeoning you over and over and over again with all of the negativity of this season. I can't pretend it's not happening, though. I go, you should read my inbox. There's just the words are leaping from the page. They just want to yell, "Damn it!" over and over and over again. Final hour forthcoming. Stay with.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra Emax 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. He's gone! Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan, introducing Nissan's Express Service. Express Service means oil changes in 45 minutes or less, with no appointment necessary. Here's how it works. When you come to Kraft Nissan for an oil change, you're greeted by a dedicated Express Service advisor. Sign the advisor's iPad and have a seat in our waiting room. A team of 2 lube technicians will immediately take your car directly to service and complete the oil change. And remember, Kraft Nissan services all makes and models. We sell tires for less. Compare us to the box stores and compare us to the tire stores. We'll beat their price. Plus, new tires come with free rotations for the life of the tires. We also have our Value Advantage line of parts that are priced to compete with aftermarket and parts stores, but still have full Nissan factory warranty. So competitively priced that Kraft Nissan will give you a 30-day price match guarantee in writing. And we offer the Kraft Nissan service card, same as cash for 6 months on purchases over $299.
So give us a try. Oil changes in 45 minutes or less and no appointment necessary. Just stop by.
Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Service card with approved credit.
You know you love the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Wait a minute, I got to stop everything. Very important. I just got a very important email from a high-ranking ESPN executive. And it reads, Ditka fell asleep on Countdown once. But it's got a question mark. And I don't know if this guy is a sloppy punctuator or if there is question about the falling asleepness of Mike Ditka on Countdown.
Ditka fell asleep on Countdown once?
Mm-hmm. It's got a question mark. I will email him back and I will get an answer to you expediently.
Sounds right.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
You can always count on the crisp, refreshing taste of Bud Light, just like you can always count on reliable Ralph. Ask him to move that couch he moved for you last summer. Ralph will do it. Need a ride from the dentist? Better call Ralph. And he won't even film you after the laughing gas and put you online and get millions of views. He's Reliable Ralph, for Pete's sake. Reliable Ralph is famous among friends. He deserves a Bud Light. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you aware of the new OSHA silica dust regulations that went into effect September 23rd? Are you prepared with the correct solutions to make your employees and your company compliant? DeWalt and Cornerstone Tool and Fastener have a full line of OSHA compliant solutions ranging from tools to accessories and shrouds and even dust extractors. OSHA rules intend to limit workers' exposure to breathable crystalline silica. DeWalt and Cornerstone are your first line of defense with the solutions you need. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway.
Football is here, Tallahassee, and if you're not watching the games at Tallahassee's favorite hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill on North Monroe Street, you're missing out. With over 28 TVs, you'll never miss a second of the action. Kick your week off with Monday Night Football, where you'll get 2-for-1 wells, calls, and drafts all night long. Then there's Tuesday Night Trivia with Professor Jimmy. Go win yourself some money. What about lunch? Weekdays, pick from over 20 menu items for just $7.50, including a drink. What you doing for Thursday Night Football? How about the Fourth Quarter, where you'll get 225 domestic drafts, 275 domestic bottles, and $4 Jaeger bombs. No weekend would be complete without Bubbles and Brunch. From 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., get all the mimosas and Bloody Marys you can drink and a breakfast for $18.99. Can you say Uber? Knowles, Bucks, Jags, or Finns, no matter who your favorite team is, take it to 2033 North Monroe Street and watch them at Tallahassee's favorite football hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, Cleveland's LeBron James remains a question mark for tomorrow's season opener against Boston. James went through the team walkthrough today, but Coach Tyronn Lue says he still doesn't know if James will play. He has a sore ankle. Nuggets have joined the Bucks in pursuing forward Richard Jefferson, who's expected to clear waivers at 5 Eastern today. The ALCS resumes tonight, Game 3, Yankees-Astros, 7 Eastern, ESPN Radio. New York did very little against Dallas Keuchel and Justin Verlander in losing the first 2 games. How can Charlie Morton duplicate their success in his start tonight? ESPN's Eduardo Perez weighs in.
That fastball is going to be electric. He can use it up in the zone from 96 and 97, and then he can throw it down in the zone the same speed, but with a 2-seam action. We saw a lot of action from him against the Red Sox. He was really good when he was in trouble because that 2-seamer was working well.
Yankees counter with CC Sabathia. NFL Vikings quarterback Teddy Bridgewater cleared to practice beginning on Wednesday, reports ESPN's Chris Mortensen. Bridgewater's on the PUP list, recovering from knee surgery.
The Nissan Heisman House is back. Rush over to NissanHeismanHouse.com to enter for a chance to win a new Nissan Titan. No purchase necessary. Ends December 8th, 2017. Open to residents of the U.S. D.C. 18 or older. Official rules at NissanUSA.com/Heisman House Sweepstakes. Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Experamac of Tallahassee. Experamac, Tallahassee's trusted tech source for Apple. Stopping at 346 South Magnolia Drive or call at 765-2012 today.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Good Monday. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. If you do miss something, we'll post all 3 hours upon the conclusion of the program, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can always email the program if you like. It's JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameron Show, WTSM app for your mobile devices, and on YouTube, it's ESPN Tallahassee. The weekend that was saw a lot of upsets, including some games that really defy logic. Going into them, you would not have suspected, for example, Boston College to beat Louisville, Syracuse knocking off Clemson, perhaps the highlight of the weekend and the shocker of the weekend. LSU comes back from down 20-0 against Auburn. Florida State cruises to a 17-10 win over Duke. I tried to sneak it in. See, I surrounded it with other stuff.
That's well done.
I surrounded it with other stuff so that you wouldn't really get bogged down in the details of a 17-10 win over Duke. Wisconsin and TCU took care of business. I could have thrown that out there as well. Oklahoma blew a 20-point lead and then still won.
Thanks for letting me house it, buddy. Here are the keys. I washed your car. I actually cleaned the kitchen. Looks great. Dishes are all done. Your dog is dead. And I made sure the trash was taken out.
Other than that, we're all right.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, things are good. Miami gets an incredibly lucky play on 4th down, and it sets up a game-winning field goal. They make that. And a driving rainstorm.
Oh, out of nowhere, which is Miami. Very Miami.
And so that occurred. And what's his name? Badgley or whatever his name is? Badgley.
Yeah,
Badgley. He hits the field goal there with 4 seconds left. They win 25-24, and then that inflates their chances of feeling very good so that they're all the more crushed when they lose, but that'll happen soon enough.
Isn't it funny how crazy things, I know they say that, celebrity deaths come in threes, but these things happen in pairs.
Yeah.
Because the way the Miami kid catches the ball,
which is crazy. Yeah.
Antonio Brown had a very similar catch yesterday.
Very, very true. Yes, that play is well defended. It's a bad decision by Big Ben. It should have been picked off. It's not picked off. It finds its way into his hands. He stops, starts, goes to the house, and then they go on to beat the Chiefs.
There were 2 incredible one-handed catches yesterday in the NFL. One by Detroit.
The left-handed on the sideline, corner of the end zone there. Yeah.
And then Treadwell from Minnesota. Both being interfered with, both with one-handed catches. It's just funny how these things tend to happen. I say it all the time. If the Knowles disappoint me, the Bucs don't typically, wow me on Sunday. Typically, these things come in twos.
They certainly didn't, you buddy. The Bucs decided to go out there and just not try real hard to start this game. Back-to-back drives. You watched Arizona look like they couldn't be beat, and they were doing nothing to confuse anybody. It was, I'm going to run the ball with Adrian Peterson. You're not going to tackle him. That's going to set up second and short. We're going to throw off the play action to Larry Fitzgerald, who will be wide open because we are not going to play any sort of press coverage against a 50-year-old receiver. He's going to catch it, make you miss. First down. We'll keep on doing that until we get down there in the red zone, then we'll score a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, it was the greatest show on natural grass.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it was a kind of thing that when you're watching it at the time that you say to yourself, this is how coaches get fired. This is the kind of thing where Mike Smith might be told to have a good day because, Dirk's not going to fire himself.
Right. Well, 300 yards in the first half will do that to you. In an NFL game, you give up 300 yards in a half. That's impossible.
Very frustrating, and a weird weekend. Just a weird weekend, and certainly Florida State did not help matters. They get the win. I thought there were some things that you could hang your hat on offensively. They continue to run the ball well. If you listen to me and I were talking last hour, I quarterback growing up, He still makes mistakes. He's going to. He's in the room. Okay, so that's gone. You have the new normal. You have the new lowered expectation of what the season can be. So when you look at it from that standpoint, what can be really hinges upon what happens this Saturday against Louisville. If you win that game, listen, again, I do think it's fair to say you can't assume anything this year given what this team isn't. But if you win that game, you will have won back-to-back games, you will have climbed to 500, and then you have BC and Syracuse. Maybe you get to a place where you begin to feel halfway decent about what you are. Maybe some of those kids that are lacking confidence now garner the confidence they need to go in and make it a close game against Clemson, because that's really the next big thing that you're looking at. But it all depends on this weekend. I fear that if this goes as south as a lot of us think it might, given what Louisville's offense is, given what our defense is, and given what Lamar Jackson can do, then really all bets are off about a winning record, and you begin to question whether or not many of these streaks that are currently the longest in the NCAA could be going by the wayside. And nobody thought that possible when you go back to the beginning of the season and you think about how you anticipated that first game against Alabama and the preseason ranking of number 3 and all that we thought was possible.
Yeah, the worry here, the doomsday scenario here is that Louisville puts up points in a heartbeat, and your defense says, well, you know what? Here we go again, and they just let it happen. I would say before this weekend against Duke that this team doesn't have going through the motions in it. It's just as poorly prepared, and it isn't always in the right place at the right time. And sometimes it just doesn't make plays because its confidence is low. I think Jimbo was right about that. Confidence can go a really long way. However, a couple of drives this weekend, one in particular, when it's 7-3 with about 5 minutes to go in the first half, I thought, well, okay. That's a yellow alert. We're not a red alert here. People aren't quitting, but it sure looks like they're more than okay with giving up 4 or 5 a clip here, or not making a statement tackle, or somebody's not stepping up to make a play and say, not right now, not today. That was in that defense for the first month of the season. Just sometimes things happen to them. This game, man, it just has me on edge a little bit.
Oh, I think we're all on edge on a Monday as we lead up to the Louisville game, knowing what happened a year ago. You would have loved to have thought this was going to be a night game, that your season was still intact, that the revenge element was in play. And, I don't think you'll hear anybody talk about that this week. It's a matter of, button your chin straps and hold on to your butts. Can you score 40 points because you're going to give up 38? I mean, I feel like that's kind of the way that a lot of us would view this game going into it on Saturday.
I still hold out hope that this defense, because of personal pride and what happened to it last year, can rise up if the game plan is simple enough and communicated clearly enough.
Oh, it'll have to be simple.
And it's communicated clearly enough. And if the game plan is communicated clearly enough.
Yeah, you're holding out hope for things that you haven't seen, buddy.
Yes, I am. But, college football does that on an every weekend basis. And I know we've said this before with college baseball. When Florida State would travel down to Gainesville for a super regional, you say, I hate it that our baseball program is in a place where we need baseball to be baseball.
Right, where
in order
it's just baseball being baseball.
To try and beat a rival. I hate that I have to cite that Syracuse beat Clemson and Iowa State has beaten Oklahoma for me to hope that the defense can look dominant, that the defense can actually flash for – I mean, even if you play great on a given night against Louisville offensively, or Louisville's offense and your defense is on the field playing well, you're still going to give up between 20 and 24 points. That's just the nature of college football and the nature of how good Lamar Jackson is.
The nature of our sorry-ass defense.
But if you turn in a nooner effort the way you turned in a nooner effort against Duke, they're going to score 40.
The point you made about this is just college football, and I hate that I have to look and say, hey, well, Syracuse beat Clemson, and, Arizona State beat Washington, and all these top 10 teams.
Washington State gets drubbed.
Got embarrassed, just brutalized. By the way, what's his face out there at Washington State?
Leach.
Yeah. I give him credit. He did what I always want coaches to do when you get absolutely brutalized the way that they did. When it's a non-competitive game, your team doesn't show up, you get the hell beaten out of you. He took to the podium and said exactly those words. I mean, he said exactly what we're all thinking. That's pretty rare. It was nice to see. But you're not citing outliers. Basically, the 7 upsets this week, you feel like none of these teams I guess I'm wrong about that. Clemson was, I thought, the best team in the country. Okay, so aside from Clemson, I mean, are you shocked that Washington State's not this great team? No. Are you surprised that Auburn blew a 20-point lead to LSU? Maybe, but it's not stunning that Auburn would lose that game to LSU. Of the other top 25 teams, I wasn't stunned that Washington lost. They have a very good defense. I would have thought they could score more than 7 points, but because Arizona State doesn't. But okay. Texas Tech, West Virginia. That's anybody's game.
I think the second most stunning thing next to Clemson, Syracuse was that Boston College came from 3 scores down
Louisville.
And drops 45. I mean, are you kidding?
Well, they ran the ball for a gazillion yards.
45 points? Boston College? That's a season in the ACC.
Well, you have to want, and you know what? And Virginia wins, and you continue. They're 5-1. Oh, might we do it? Here comes Virginia. I'm very proud of that one because we were really
that could have been bad.
That could have been. Neither of us were ready. I realized I threw us into that thing before either one of us had even made eye contact on it, and yet there we are. We're still here playing ball. This team may not be.
We've been in about 3 different keys in these 5 attempts, but yet the keys have been.
We find it with each other. Yeah, we know
by the
it.
time we get to the C in the second word.
John and Paul. I mean, we're just over here just writing songs. I start humming. You're there with me. Bam, let's go. But, I look around and I go, okay, Clemson, Washington State, Auburn, San Diego State, Texas Tech, Navy. Navy was in the top 25, believe it or not. So they all lose these games and like you mentioned, Louisville losing to BC to tack on an 8th one. There's a lot of unpredictability in college football right now. I joked around that maybe there are only 2 good teams in college football right now. I mean, Georgia looks good every week. I know they got off to a sluggish start, didn't bother to defend anybody early in this game. Once they decided to commit to carrying, they go for nearly 700 yards of offense. That's ridiculous. They ran for over 300 yards. I know it's Mizzou, but, we just played Duke. What I wouldn't give to see some sort of bludgeoning like that. And Alabama, again, another comfortable win. So right now, those 2, they're over here.
We'll see how the quarterback situation pans out for Clemson, but Clemson's merely on notice. Clemson wins out, Clemson's in the playoff. This overreaction about, whoa, how far will they fall? Not far enough that if they win out.
Because everybody else lost. The same thing happened to them a year ago.
Well, they had the 3 top 15 wins, in consecutive weeks, and they still got a chance in the ACC title game.
Well, if they win the ACC and they have just the 1 loss.
The NC State game is huge. I mean, they have more than enough opportunity to climb back in that top 4. So Clemson just doesn't have any strikes left. But it's not like Clemson's season is done because of the mega upset. They'll be fine if they win out.
If the other teams had not fallen, though, it would be somewhat. It would be tenuous. They would have a problem on their hands. But the other teams did lose. And Ohio State already has a loss, for example. So to try to incorporate some other – Oklahoma already has a loss.
In a world that Ohio State lost to that Virginia Tech team that it lost to and makes it to the college football playoff, I think Clemson is just fine.
Oklahoma's a weird team, by the way. I mean, they're just a weird team.
Yeah.
They went in there.
I watched that whole game.
Yeah, they went in there and dominated Ohio State on a mission.
Well, and they're on a mission in the first half of this weekend's game.
And they're up 20 points against Texas. This game is over.
Yeah.
It is over. Everything we thought about that game was exactly right, and then you fool around and you take your foot off the gas. You see these things happen all the time. It's hard to press upon to kids that, listen, it's a hell. Jimbo cites momentum all the time, and sometimes I roll my eyes because he says it a lot. But he's not wrong. When you lose some of that, and it starts to spin the other way. See the LSU game against Auburn. This game is over. It is 20-0 early in the second quarter. LSU's got nothing going on offense. Auburn is dominating the game as we suspect they would. And then LSU, out of desperation, just begins to blitz. Just blitz, 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 and blitz. And Auburn has no answers. I don't know what they were – I don't remember seeing a screen pass, but they should have worked one in. But they don't ever do anything. And the next thing you know, LSU's climbed back in this game, and they get a big special teams play. They win the game. It's nuts because Auburn lost hold of the momentum and really didn't do anything to curb the belief that LSU could win after that momentum shifted.
Well, the other thing that Jimbo says that's correct in theory, but it shouldn't be in practice here with Florida State's athletes, and these are 2 separate conversations, is that parity is unbelievable now compared to what it used to be.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There are so many teams that wouldn't have a prayer against the second team of a top 10
you go back
Power
to the
5
90s.
conference.
That was certainly the case. The ACC has changed.
You could drop 100 every week if you wanted to. If you want to drop 100, you could do it. That's not the case anymore. But that doesn't explain away. It's completely different. Yes, Jimbo, you're right.
I was going to say, let's not do that, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't explain away all of the crap, the inconsistency that we've seen so far this season.
Did you watch the entirety? I know you were down in Miami for a wedding. Did you get to see, for the most part, this Clemson-Syracuse game?
Oh, no. I saw the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wedding reception time.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I mean, when you watch it, the injury, the sack happens, and you're kind of like, oh, that doesn't look good. The announcers are actually going, oh, I can't see what happened there. What? He's concussed. My man got slung onto his head. This is not difficult. He's knocked the hell out.
Yeah, look at the head, man.
Yeah, he's not moving.
The ground doesn't move.
Of all the losses in the top 25, it's not surprising to me that Washington State got drubbed 37-3. And I'll note, they beat USC, but we've been raising our eye at what USC is all year long. And Southern Cal has to come back against Utah to win by a point. And Utah's not terrible, but that's a 28-27 game. And
well, from the time they're in a war with Texas, you go, which makes the Oklahoma-Texas game curious. However, rivalry games can exist on their own as goofy. That does just happen, no matter what.
Oklahoma State did with Baylor what had to be done there, 59-16. That's an aside. I want to throw that out there because we were wondering. We've been on the Baylor watch, and I keep wondering, what that's going to look like by the end of the year. And when you look, I'm going to go pull up their schedule right now. I shouldn't do this. Why do I care about Baylor? I'm sorry, guys. I just do. I just want to see what that's going to look like for them at the end of the year.
Schadenfreude Monday for a 2-3 Florida State market.
Well, Baylor is 0-6. And I asked a while, they've lost 59-16, 33-20, 49-41. I'm going in reverse order. 34-20 to Duke. They gave up 34 to Duke. 17-10. Texas San Antonio, you remember that, beat them.
That's right.
And 48-45 to Liberty.
I was calling them UTEP, but apparently it was San Antonio. They're worse.
Yes. They lost to Liberty.
Of course they did.
They lost to Liberty, Tom. All right, so this is what they have left.
Many organizations have over the years.
West Virginia. That's well played. West Virginia. Texas. Could they beat Texas? No, they won't beat Texas.
Probably not.
They still have Kansas at KU.
What a war. Remember, that was the game we were going to talk about.
Going to see.
Well, now that we're playing Syracuse, remember at that point we were like, well, it's Syracuse weekend. Let's get out of town. I don't know, man.
They're not going to beat Texas Tech, Iowa State, or TCU. The Kansas game's the one you got to circle.
That's a pretty interesting Florida State-Syracuse game now. If that's what we're going to turn in against Wake Forest and Duke. Come on, man.
So wins against Wake Forest and Duke, Tom Wang.
That's right.
Wins against Wake Forest and Duke.
By a full touchdown.
You want to be all negative like that?
Touchdown and an extra point. That's how much we beat them by. Each.
Never trailed. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth. Like a Mahindra XTV 750S as low as $135 a month. Or get up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 3-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my poor truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Visit Urban Food Market today, located in the center of Tallahassee. Urban Food Market, proud to serve Pepsi.
Wow, this is great. E+.
E+? Is that like A+?
It's better. The E stands for easy.
Easy Plus?
Yep. Easy ways to save energy, water, and money from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. Your own utilities. The City of Tallahassee Utilities has created easy ways to monitor your account with E+ online. We can pay online, we can check our balance online, compare usage history online, and even take a free online energy audit.
And I see the City of Tallahassee Utilities has created a new smart bill. Once we enroll, we do everything online. Billing, paying, everything. What a time saver. Not to mention saving energy, water, and money.
And when we download the City of Tallahassee Utilities Digitally smartphone app, we can do everything on our phone. Pretty incredible.
Plus, there are new authorized payment locations.
Game Day, your ESPN Tallahassee pregame show featuring Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Yeah, I like them.
Get the latest news, interviews, and insights 3 hours ahead of kickoff before the Noles defend home turf.
Hey, on Saturday, we're going to play a game. We're going to most likely win that game, and we're going to celebrate on Sunday.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Whole Foods Market, a leader in natural and organic food that brings the highest quality of local and global products to Tallahassee. Whole Foods Market, located at 1817 Road, and presented by MMT Clinics of Florida. Visit mmtcfl.com.
To the pylon! That's a Seminoles touchdown!
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 7272 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 7272.
Football season is in full swing, and so is AAA One Transmission. AAA One Transmission is locally owned and operated by Tim Pridgett, who's been servicing the Tallahassee area for over 37 years. Brakes, transmissions, electrical systems, tune-ups, and battery checks. No matter what ails your vehicle, AAA One Transmission can make your automobile healthy again. Don't put off your auto repairs. Stop it at 1023 North Monroe Street or call them at 222-2532.
You're listening to the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
That's a double win right
Texas
there.
A&M surviving the Felipe Franks 79-yard run on 3rd and forever.
Yeah, and when he kept running, I said, is somebody going to tackle that son of a bitch?
The answer was no.
Yeah, but finally somebody did. And at the end of the day, it's a cover. It's a win.
It didn't matter.
It did not matter. Did not matter.
A lot of empty red zone possessions there for A&M, at least when it comes to touchdowns. But,
we have that problem.
Yeah, you need to score 20 points, Florida. Can you do it?
Nope. That happens often to them. There are a lot of magic numbers for Florida trying to amass 300 yards of offense. Doesn't happen very frequently these days.
Yeah, that's the part they cut out of the commercial. It's like, go score 20 points. And the guy goes, ha!
Yeah. It's at home against A&M. Yeah, I know. Well, dark times for these two schools. We get our chance to commiserate on the 25th.
We sure do. That'll be a fun tailgate.
Final score 6-3.
Well, I like our kicker. They like their kicker. That'll be a battle.
It could be.
It's nice to feel okay about the kicker. I'm not like raving about, a 54-yarder and it's going to be automatic the way it was for, Gano, then Hopkins, and obviously the elder Aguayo in his first couple of seasons.
Yeah.
But you feel pretty comfortable when he's lining up from 35, 42, whatever, Even if it's on the wrong hash, you're like, all right, he feels more solid.
You ought not jinx any of this. Although, that said, what you're about to hear here pretty shortly is my Mountain Dew interview with Jimbo Fisher. And in doing so, he does note some of the positives, one of which is special teams. He does not mention McFadden refusing to catch the football, which is something that I would throw in there.
Rightly so. Rightly so.
You're still angered by that? I saw the look on your face.
Yeah, a little bit. Hidden yards, man. We need every hidden yard we can get. We need the ones we can see and the ones that are hidden.
There have been a lot of shocking results in college football this year. What you wouldn't give to be in Doak Campbell Stadium this Saturday and to walk out of that stadium winners 48-10 or something crazy where you're going, what? Where in the world did that come from? And have other people talk about the shock that occurred in Tallahassee, right? You feel like it's happening elsewhere sometimes. And here you're just like, ooh, well, no. But I really did think at over 7 yards per play and the way they came out of this game, boom, 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 12 for 83 and a touchdown. You're like, okay, we found something here. Sticking with the run game, over 7 yards, over 200 yards rushing for the two backs that are really, really good. And Rasul's good too. They've got something with that, I agree. I love that Jimbo got James Blackman out of the pocket. There were some things there.
One other thing to note, too, because we haven't talked about it yet today, but, I know it's just 30 yards and one touchdown, but Auden Tate, man, he continues to fight, and if you go back and watch that game and some of the blocks...
Oh, he's blocking one-armed.
...that he tries to make and can't, and it's like, you can't blame him because if he's on the field, you have to account for him defensively, so it's worth the trade-off, and then some. But he actually misses one block he should have on the perimeter, and he turns the guy loose. But there are times when he's trying to crack back, and he's using his left shoulder, and he's, you could tell that right shoulder is so dinged up, and he's fighting.
Man, listen, there are some guys on this team that make you proud, that are really fighting.
Absolutely.
Amidst a lost season. And so that's good. It's good. Maybe the other guys take note. Maybe the other guys do accordingly. We'd like to believe so. I understand why Jimbo is really positive. He has to be right now. He's trying to salvage something from this season, and he knows the team goals are gone. But he's got a young kid, and he wants to see that kid get better, and the kid is getting better. This is my Jimbo Fisher interview, the Mountain Dew Jimbo Fisher interview, and it's proof that I have ignored the clocks. If you would, fire it up. It's a weird game, Coach. I look at the game. I think it was 9 drives, maybe lack of possessions, or else this number is bigger because the yards per play is over 7. Your running backs go over 200 yards. There's a lot to like. Just needed more points.
Yeah, first drive, 12 plays. Great drive. Next drive, 12 plays. Get a holding call and get moved back, which I agree with that one. He tugged him just a little, not a big one, but he tugged him to get back to 2nd and 11. They run a coverage sack, and he's in, and then he takes off, and he's inches from coming out. They want like a man-under type principle, and when you play man-under, that's one of the things you can do is run. They caught him by his shoe late. 3rd down, he made one of the few mistakes in the game. Should have thrown it away or hit the underneath, got a shorter field goal. 3rd drive, we get a holding call on Richard Leonard, which is ridiculous. On the opening drive, we had 6 yards. Was not a hold. Blocked him to just buried him to the ground. Missed call, would get back, make it up. Get an 8-yard run, get 3rd and 4, pick up 3rd and 3. Then get the ball and drive and hit the midfield, and they call our tight end for being on the ball. He's not. He's a yard and a half clearly off the ball. And that play takes us to the 14. And that 4th drive, we score. We got points on both. It should have been 14 or 10 by then out of 2 drives, and then had a missed call that caused the other. And I'm not blaming anything. That's just the fact of that's just the way it went. And then the other call, the guy was definitely, he was a half a yard off the ball more than Nooney was, which is what you have to be. And we hit that play to 13 minutes halftime. We come out, have a tremendous 11-play drive, eat clock, keep the defense off the field, controlling the game, going down to go up 14-3. Nooney we hit a big play to Nooney, hit a running the ball really well. He's got to score on that play. He's got the whole side of the field. He makes a big play. But I told him, man, he got to put that ball in the end zone. But then we get it on 1st down, 2nd down. But then we have an open pass. We give up that's 1 to 2 times. We give up protection. Got a guy over aggressive, and they missed on a twist inside. And we're going to throw it to the right guy for a touchdown. Don't make it. Kick a field goal. Then come back. I believe driving. And we missed a bubble throw. Just a block. But we're going to gain about 7, so we're 3rd and 8. And then he's going to throw it away on the next 3rd down. And he got to get rid of it a little quicker. And got to see it. He saw it. Knew it wasn't coming. Was going to throw it away. Got to throw it away quicker. And caused us in our defense. They had a big drive right there. Tight. And our defense did a tremendous job in the momentum right there. At midfield stopped them. And we get it back. And, of course, we have a great drive. 90. We had 3 drives in the game of over 83 yards. 4 drives of over 10 plays out of the first 7. Where we're controlling the ball, dominating, like I say, got to finish. And we finish that drive. Then we come back. We're going to run the clock out. Pop a run to the 50. Get a holding call on Everly. Has nothing to do with the play. Guys blocked. He's clearly blocked. Everly throws him to the ground off his own momentum. Got his hands inside. Breaks it out. It's a 25-yard run to midfield. We're going to run the clock out, and we're moving to get points to put it away. That sets us back. And then we have the last drive. We really on second down. We had a 7-yard run on second down. The one or two mistakes that our back made. He should have stuck it, picked the front side. We gained the first down, and we missed on 3rd and 3. That was the game. And defensively, thought we were outstanding as far as they had one drive in the first half of 15 play. Our linebackers had to do a better job plugging the draw. They were running elite draw, and we were there. They're sitting back and creating the space. When the second half, when they started coming downhill better, we closed it off. They hit the 3rd and 17, which is merely that everybody covered. The end comes free and just loses contained. And when he did, the scramble rules got into effect, and Westbrook's torn between the guy on the sideline and the one guy that turned and broke deep, and they made a great throw. But we got to get the guy on the ground and can't let him lose contained in the pocket. And that was a huge play in the game. And then our defense after that had the big stop on the extra interception where we were. Then they held him out at the end. I got the sack on the deal. But the first guy we tackled was actually inbound. They could have kept running the clock. But then we played. But, I mean, at the same time, like you said, Jeff, it's kind of good. But we got to finish with more. There should have been 34, 35 points in the game. Have plenty of opportunities to do that. The 2 interceptions we can have. James was really sharp on the day, 18 to 21. The first interception, he just can't happen. He just got a little greedy, 7 for 7, and made a mistake there. And then the other one, Jeff Stowaway just a hair quicker. But then he made 2 huge third-down throws in that last drive, picked up first downs. It was good to see Nooney to get back into playing. Auden did another nice job. Our backs ran really well. We run blocked really well. They missed the targeting on the quarterback on a shot up the middle that we should have had on that third down throw, which was huge. And then special teams, Logan Tyler was outstanding. He punted the ball and changed field position after the couple penalties. So it was either penalty or turnover. There's 2 things. A couple I agree, a couple I don't. But, hey, that's ball, man. They call them. You got to live with them. And actually one of the more efficient games, but I say not frustrating game, but we need to score more points. We got to play a little smarter in a couple situations, but getting a lot better. We kicked it good. We covered good in the day. And defense did a nice job. A couple things we got to get worked out. And then come off and luckily got a win. Like I say, and you're finding out in this league right now, this is not the same league. I mean, Syracuse beat
Clemson.
Boston College beat Louisville. I mean, you're seeing across the country. I mean, the weight games, these games, dude, this middle of the league is a very good team. And they played smart. They played each other, and the game got limping. And we played really well. I mean, we were controlling the clock, when you have those long drives, you just got to finish with points for sure, and preferably touchdowns, and that's a big difference. And we're getting better at that. But still lots of improvement in developing an identity on offense. James is 18 to 21. Good decisions. Found some third receivers in the day, 2 or 3 different times. Third downs is getting better. Just got to keep improving. And as like I say, we're the boys to find more points, but at the same time, we're getting better as a football team.
Yeah, I thought it was a weird game because when, people get frustrated, they see 17-10 or they're watching the game, maybe they're not aware of certain numbers. When I went back and looked at this and looked at all the drives and all the numbers, it is close to being a 31-10 type game. I mean, it's you have some plays. You got to finish them like you said. And really the only time this offense gets bogged down in this game is basically getting behind the chains. And those are also the 2 interceptions that come on 3rd and long.
Yep, exactly right. And one was, like I say, one came on, we missed a bubble block that we were going to gain a first down to Auden. The other was off the penalty, off a holding call that was there. And the other 2 times we got stopped with the same thing. We were inches from making. But third down, they were number 1 in the league, almost in the country on third down. But they were giving up less than 25% on third down. And I believe in the game we were 6 to 13 on the day, and they did a great job. I thought Jock Westpac was outstanding, short yardage running, just overall blocking and playing. Cam played a really good game. It's good to see Nooney come back. DJ Matthews got a nice catch in the game. We got behind the sticks at one time too on where he dropped the slant. But you're breaking those new guys in. You got to have that happen. So still used all different receivers. Did a good job. I know it. Like I say, it's not indicative, but as far as I'm in, it's a heck of a lot closer than it is farther, and very positive in the direction we're going, eliminating negative plays. That kind of thing as we're going through.
Can you bottle that opening drive? Maybe sprinkle in 2 or 3 of those?
Well, we did.
Yeah, it's true.
We did.
Yeah.
I mean, we did on the second drive, except for the penalty and the pick, and then the opening drive the second half was 11 plays the same way. And, Nooney's got the whole side of the field, and I love him to death. I tell him, I'm teasing. Now, you got the whole side of the field, you got to get in the end zone.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get a guy more situation there, and then we missed a block on 2nd and 7 down there, so we have 2 guys open there. It would have been the same exact drive, except for like 1 play of it. But when you're executing 11, 12-play drives, those are rare today. Those are different. That's football from when you're executing all the way through. But we really did. We had 3 drives of over 83 yards, 4 of over 10 plays out of the first 7. And that controls your defense. That does everything. And I just got to finish it a little bit better.
Coach, final thing, health-wise, how'd we get out of Duke?
Actually, relatively good. I mean, we had some guys that banged. Derek Kelly got his knee. Him and what happened? He and Nine banged knee to knee. They went bone to bone.
Right.
And but he's all right. I think he's going to be fine. Just at the time he had a bad knee right there that we bought him, and it aggravated. But I think he come out all right. And for the most part, I think everything was pretty good.
Coach, be well. Thanks for making the time. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, thank you.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra Emax 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Anytix.com doesn't mark up tickets. Anytix.com has 0. That's right, no buyer, seller, or service fees. For a small monthly fee of $9.99, you get access to all their wholesale tickets. Go to Anytix.com today. That's Anytix, T-I-X-X. Enter the coupon code ESPN Tally and get 20% off your subscription. Anytix.com, changing the way you buy tickets.
Tallahassee's unquestioned sports authority. 97.9 ESPN Radio. Tallahassee's sports monster.
College football programs know the importance of recruiting. If they want to compete at the highest level, they need to bring on the best talent. People who have the skills and drive to be a success. The same is true in business. Recruiting is vital. And with ZipRecruiter, you'll have a smarter and simpler way to assemble your own winning team. With just one click, you can post your job to over 100 job boards. Then ZipRecruiter's matching technology identifies relevant talent fast. 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within 24 hours. And your ZipRecruiter dashboard helps keep everything in one place. So it's easy to review and rank the candidates with the best experience. You'll be building a powerhouse program in no time. Choose the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter, official hiring partner of the Florida State Seminoles.
For your free trial, go to ZipRecruiter.com/GoNoles. ZipRecruiter.com/GoNoles. Once again, for a free trial, go to ZipRecruiter.com/GoNoles.
Nole fans, ESPN Tallahassee's official home for FSU watch parties in 2017 is Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway.
Francois to throw for the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown. Seminoles are going for the win.
The ESPN Tallahassee team will be on hand for every Seminole away football game with giveaways, a chance to win some great prizes, and to have a good time.
To the pylon. He's into the end zone for an FSU touchdown.
So, when the Noles hit the road, join us at Miller's Ale House on the Parkway, the official FSU watch party headquarters of your home of the best in Seminole sports talk. 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee's Sports Authority.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, 'cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry.
Hey, this is Travis with Parker Brothers Roofing. No one besides us wants to hear that you need a new roof. It's one of the biggest home improvements you have to make, and Parker Brothers Roofing understands. We now offer financing for 0% over 60 months. Yes, that's 5 years. Call us today for 5 years interest-free financing on that new roof. 656-8112. That's 656-8112, or go to parkerbrothersroofing.net.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra Emax 22 as low as $99 a month, or up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Only from Mahindra.
North Florida and South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT Super Center, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSupercenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Man Cave Monday, brought to you by Experamac of Tallahassee. Experamac, Tallahassee's trusted tech source for Apple. Stopping at 346 South Magnolia Drive or call at 765-2012 today.
I'm Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. You know, it occurs to me, listening back to the Jimbo interview, you know, it's the kind of the new norm, right? I mean, it's hard to digest, but you are judging this team based on the information you have with the games played as opposed to the expectations without a game having been played and the results and the injuries and the time and all that. So every time you have this conversation about 70-10 win over Duke, and I can hear myself say the things that from afar and from in years past I would be agitated by. You know, I 70-10, all right, 7 yards per play, looking good. Take the progress, get the win, move on. I got you. The big picture, all of this is unacceptable. Okay, I'm fully aware of that. But again, knowing what we already know, knowing what the team is or isn't, more importantly, and knowing the areas that they have to get better, and the only way that's likely going to happen is maybe to make some changes. It's just, you're beating a dead horse every week. If you expect me to continue to just pound the podium, I'm not going to do it. So I think that they are getting better. I don't think this score was indicative of how much they dominated the game. But when you only have 9 possessions because you don't run enough plays, every game you play is going to be close. And that I hope he learns. I would think that going back and looking at the replay and watching the film like he did last night of the 12-play, 83-yard drive where everything is happening briskly and you're rolling your quarterback out of the pocket and having him judge or, analyze half the field, make one decision, the success rate of that would have lessened over the course of the game. He wouldn't have been able to continue to do that. But things like that with a little bit of tempo, and sometimes keep it simple, stupid is true.
Yeah, they even came out on the second drive with a little bit more tempo, too. The first down, they're on the ball very quickly.
Yeah.
To me, I think the larger question that we're going to be asking ourselves if and when there are changes to the offensive staff, because one of the coaches is a little older, we'll put it that way first. And secondly, we're focusing on what the defense is or isn't, but the Wake Forest performance happened for the offensive line, and subsequent performances have shown that they can't really execute the scheme with consistency. Duke won its fair share of battles, individual and group level battles. If not for Jaquez Patrick on the first drive, converting on his own on a third down, and then in the third quarter, if it's not for Jaquez Patrick converting on a huge third down, I mean, you just wonder about where the game would have been, because that 12-play drive doesn't happen without an individual effort after Derek Kelly gets pushed 5 to 6 yards into the backfield, and then he runs through an arm tackler, and you realize that Duke's not very good, beyond the fact that we're going through our struggles. Duke is not very good.
Right.
So I say all that to say the larger question is, if and when there are changes on the offensive staff, are we going to be asking the players with the new coaches to do something different, or are we going to be asking them to do the same thing? Because what I see with the offensive line is a group that's not necessarily capable of doing what they are asked to do. So sometimes the failure is not even on the offensive line. If you can't do task X and I keep on asking you to do task X and you can execute it 20, 30% of the time, even 50% of the time, is that reasonable enough?
No, and we were asking the question at the end of last week about the things that we ask our offensive linemen to do, in particular centers, but all the reach blocks and things like that. And you can isolate. You and I both go back and watch these games closely, and when you do that, you see moments of folly where you say that's just an unreasonable ask. We'll see. We'll take it by take it day by day when it happens. I mean, until that time, you're going to get more of this. I do think they're improving. I do not the offensive line per se, although in run blocking they definitely are.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're not bad there. And by the way,
by the standard, they're not pretty good overall, or else we would have rushed for 400 yards on Duke. We'll make that very clear.
But let's say this: Boston College just bludgeoned Louisville with the run. Boston College just beat Louisville running the football and then running the football some more, and then running some football, more football, and running some more, and then running some more. I mean, so as we turn the page, and it's very easy to turn the page on 17-10 versus Duke because I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about it. Not because I'm embarrassed by it, not because it's just one more, chink in the armor. It's that, listen, that game, 9 drives, 9. That's amazing to me. But that said, I do want to play keep away from Louisville because we're not stopping Louisville's offense. If you're going into this game, if I tell you I've given you 24 points, do you win the game? No, you don't win the game. If we score 24, we won't win the game. So that's how little faith I have in this defense to get stops against that offense with that player. They won't. So when they don't, you'll be angry again, and so will I. I do say this, though, and I really like that he said it to me. He said it to all the outlets anybody he's talked to. If you look at his quotes, my man knows they got to score points this weekend. I mean, it's a not-so-subtle shot at his defense when he says, well, obviously we've got to cash it in the red zone there and not field goals, got to score touchdowns because we're going to need score some points this weekend. I mean, he knows they're not getting stops.
Yeah.
He knows damn well they're not going to get stops against Louisville. So normally I want more possessions because you have more talent, more depth than most of the teams you're playing. I'd like 8-9-minute drives here, please. I don't need our defense to be on the field hardly at all, if possible. It's a hell of a conundrum, though, because everything has to be just right. See, this is the problem with these kinds of drives. When did we get in trouble? When did we get bogged down? When did James Blackman throw the interceptions? Behind the chains, 3rd and long. You have a 3rd and 20, which, frankly, I'm telling him to run to draw or I'm throwing a screen. I don't trust too many really, really good experienced quarterbacks on 3rd and 20.
Well, yeah, and the 3rd and 20 is because I think
and it's just a delay a game.
But I think they have a look. The way that Duke is blitzing, it looks like there's going to be a single coverage matchup that he's going to enjoy, and that's why when he didn't snap the ball, oh my God,
snap it, my man.
Dude! There's like 6 or 7 guys coming, and just the way the offense looked and stacked up against them defensively, it looked like we might have had something up the seam.
Well, freshman did some freshman things there. He got the delay, and then he makes that decision, and it's on him.
Which is what we said was going to happen anyway. He might outright lose you a game before the season is over. Just reconcile that right now.
The good news is when he didn't throw those 2 picks, he was literally damn near perfect.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we have a 36-yard pass completion wiped off the board with a ridiculous call that is not a penalty, and they blew that call. But that said, you got to score more than 17 against Duke? Sure, you do. I get it. I got it. And I think he gets it, too. I think he was frustrated, too. They did a lot of things right, just didn't show up on the scoreboard. And because you don't play at a pace that gives you more at-bats, if you will, then what you end up having happen is a fluke player here, like a few fluke play here or there, like the busted contain and scramble for 9 seconds, throw down the field. Well, now all of a sudden you've got a one-possession game. You're in a tie game, but you're in a one-possession game late with them because you just don't run enough plays. And I wish Jimbo would embrace tempo, but maybe he's not because he doesn't trust his quarterback. I don't know. The kid's getting better. By season's end, my prediction, I think, is accurate. He's going to be a guy that we're all very pleased with moving forward, that we all know is the starter.
He's checking all the boxes right now.
Oh, yeah. He's playing really well.
For what a true freshman should be, he's exceeding that.
Yeah, he's playing really well. He's a smart kid. He's a tough kid, too, for his size. I mean, he's proven that part of it, too.
I guess it's just a prerequisite. If you come here, you're going to get your ass kicked.
Well, right now it's true. Also, let's be fair. And this gets back to any number of things that we get into, but we want nuance in our discussion. DeAndre Francois got killed last year, but he held the ball forever. Like, that guy continued to get himself in trouble. And currently, our freshman quarterback doesn't always get rid of the ball when he can.
Yes.
I don't know if we're not just preaching that to our quarterbacks, that, hey, listen, if it's not there, do yourself a favor and try not to get killed.
Well, to me, I'm just being irrational for a moment. Do I have to watch a replay or two every single game where the quarterback gets absolutely destroyed and I have to worry about his well-being?
Well, right. I agree. But I do think that'll happen when you hold the ball forever.
Of course. I don't even care about the process. I'm just saying every weekend, I'm like, good God. It's just annoying and it's embarrassing. You get your ass kicked.
Well,
like the death blows. I'm not talking about, got rolled up on after the play. Hey, that's a dirty roll on, No, like absolutely from a bad movie, annihilated.
Well, and you certainly could have stood to have a review on one of those annihilations because they review everything else. I mean, God forbid if Florida State hit somebody a little hard. We're going to have to take a good long look at that one. The officials on the field are fine with it. They're like, no, hold on. We got to buzz down. Go ahead, cue it up.
Ready for a cold one? Proof Brewing Company in Railroad Square Art Park presents What's on Tap.
It ain't going to be Monday Night Football.
What'll it be?
It's not going to be Monday Night Football. Indianapolis and Tennessee. It'll be baseball instead. Houston and New York. That's what's on tap. And I have to be brief here. I'm not trying to shortchange our awesome sponsor, Proof Brewing Company, for sponsoring What's on Tap. Proof Brewing Company, since 2007, offering Tallahassee's finest craft beer selections at their massive tap room in Railroad Square Art Park, and canned deliciousness in stores near you, which if you're watching Monday Night Football, you need to drink some of that tonight because good Lord.
Tampa Bay Lightning, Detroit Red Wings. That's what's on tap tonight. Both teams 4-1 on the season. What's Detroit doing?
Right, I'll watch that as well. I'll be doing that in baseball. It is all goodness. Good work out of you, sir. Good work, Matthew. Thanks to those who called and or listened. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Be well.